Oh, right. I felt really weird there, clicking through my OBS scenes. Very strange. All right, guys. Hi. Yes, it is not 5. It's 7. So we are 2 hours later than we normally would be with a stream. But I had to do it. Come on. We missed the Saturday one. The Sunday one was short. Last weekend we missed one. We got to stream. We got to do this. Listen, I'm not going to let you guys down. So we are going to do this. I've even got a video advertising the fact that I'm live. What's been going on is it might be the weather that's doing it to me as well, but I feel like I've got a ton to do. And so I woke up really early this morning. I was like, boom, we're going to get this stuff slammed out at 9. I was really productive. It was all going well. At about 2 in the afternoon, I was exhausted. I was like dead. Even though I had about 8 hours sleep last night. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just not sleeping restfully because it's so hot and whatnot. But anyway, I was so bad. So I was like, oh, I'll go have a nap. Woke up at about 5:30. So I was already a little bit late for the stream. And then at that point, I realized what I was going to do this afternoon I hadn't done. And that was respond to you guys' messages. Go all the way through Discord, go through all of my emails, go through all of my tweets. Well, actually, I haven't even gone through my tweets. I forgot to do my tweets. Go through all the Patreon messages, all of that stuff. It looks like Twitter is really quiet now for me because I don't use it very much anymore, so I feel kind of bad. But yeah, so we're going live, and it's just a little bit late because after I woke up, I was like, oh, I'll respond to all my stuff. We'll get all of it done. So yeah, hello everybody, welcome. We'll probably do some giveaways and stuff as well. Yeah, we're going to go kind of hardcore on the POF stuff. I've got coffee ready. The advantage is that this is a little bit late. The advantage is I'm now really fresh. I'm in that perfect sweet spot after having a really nice nap where I've fully woken up again. And I'm ready, guys. I'm ready to be nerdy. So yeah. Dead Zealot, it's good to see you. Jules, it's good to see you. Boy Flux says, hey, Woody. Hey to you too. Total Moji says, hi, chat. Hi, WP. Man, look, I always feel a bit strange. When I watch other streamers, there's this thing that, like, streamers around my size do. They all do it, and they're all, like, desperate to do it because they think that this is the road to success. They all go on and on about, like, their community, and they're like, oh, our community's amazing. Oh, us lot that hang out together, we're the best. You know, the regulars, we're all so cool. They harp on and on and on and on about how much it means to them because they want it to feel like this, like, little clicky thing, inspire fanaticism in them as a personality so that then they can snowball into being, you know, a public figure. It's like a science, really. It's what people do, and you'll see it at streams of this size all the time. But I gotta say, it is really cool when I go live and I see like a ton of names that I recognize. It's like, yeah, we all hang out together. It's kind of, so I'm like totally being one of those stereotypical people that does. I'm manipulating you right now, guys. I'm trying to cultivate fanaticism and a clique, but it is cool seeing the same names coming up. Alodus, it's good to see you as well. Alodus, you don't count as one of the same names. No. It says, whoop whoop, amazing. I had an exam today, and it was amazing to come home and watch the LP after, and now some Tato stream. The next episode of the LP is going to be pretty good as well. You guys are going to hate what I've done to Cauliflower, though. She's changed a little bit in the way she looks. So yeah, you love that the open mouth is just red. It looks like a big red nose. Come on, this is so annoying. It's not a nose. I have to change this camera now. We're going to go back to one of my other favorites. Oh, so many to choose from. So much variety. Let's do one actually we haven't for a long time. Should we do one of the dog cams? People always like the dog cams. Here. I think this is one of the dog cams. There you go. Boom. Look at that cute little dog back there. And the potato is propped up on a CD, it seems. What that CD exactly is, I don't know. But yeah. Okay, big stream hardcore POF giveaways. I don't know whether there's going to be hardcore POF giveaways. There should be some giveaways, though. There'll be a couple. Nice dinner time stream for European guys. Yeah, actually, I mean, I already ate. I ate right before I passed out for my nap. Cotton Clo says, am I late? Am I early? You're just on time, man. You're just on time. You've hit the Goldie. This is the Goldilocks zone. It's not too early. It's not too late. It's just right. Yeah, you are being manipulated, Jules. Join the Spud Cult. Indeed, we have a Discord. The Spud Cult Discord. Oh, sorry, I mean club. Club. Ignore that word, cult. No. Jack Hunter, thank you very much, man. I'm enjoying it as well. I'm really getting into the Sylvari stuff at the moment. It's also kind of the reason people watch isn't pure play in the market. You watch YouTube and Twitch because you like to have more of a personal connection, in my opinion. That's why smaller communities are sought after. Yeah, Twitch is this really weird paradoxical thing where I think the best experiences on Twitch are... I mean, this sounds really egotistical, and it's got nothing to do with me, but I think that the best streams on Twitch are streams of my size. And everyone else in that area, and even smaller. Actually, I think that smaller than mine is probably better. Mine moves a little bit too fast. I reckon as a viewer, I'd be a little bit iffy about watching a wood potato stream because you're not, especially when it starts picking up in the later hours, you're not exactly guaranteed to get a response, right? But like smaller streams, they're really good. So Twitch is very strange though because as good as small streams are. All those people actually... I mean, here's why I say it's manipulative. It's because all those people with small streams don't actually want small streams. They say they like the community. They say that they like the feel of being able to respond to you. They say they like you as an individual. But they would not blink at the opportunity to turn it into a chat spammy Zerg fest of thousands of viewers where there's no meaningful interaction anymore, but they get a lot of money. They would not take it. I mean, genuinely, if you took 100 small Twitch streams, 99 of them were, including myself, would go for the bigger things just so that they can get spammed with donations and money and, you know, have that feeling of fame at the cost of the small community, at the cost of the small personal connections. And they're basically lying to you, suggesting otherwise that they would actually, oh, no, I like the small community. This is exactly what it is a manipulation. It really is. I think so. What was that? God, I got really ranty there. I don't know. I'm not trying to be too judgy to people. But yeah, no, the point was that Twitch is this paradoxical thing. Oh, and the other insult to injury is most people, when their streams get big, they won't remember your name anymore. You know, like, let's say I cover, I don't know, some new MMO that comes out. Didn't Bless just come out, right? And I get huge and I get all these viewers. I forget completely who Turtle Moji is in Eludus, and I'm like, screw you guys, I don't care anymore. You know, like that happens a lot, 99% of the time as well. So it's like this really kind of sad thing, but also a paradoxical thing because it's like it genuinely is true that the best streams are the small ones with the community interaction, but everyone's trying to trade up all the time. And it's also a strange thing where from the audience perspective, I don't really understand it. Everyone congregates to the top anyway, you know. You get it's so boring watching a stream with too much viewership where you don't get a good chat, in my opinion. It's so boring. But everyone goes there anyway. I don't think there's that big of a gulf between the amateurs and the new people and the professionals. I've talked at many times about really good streamers who get zero viewership and forever will get zero viewership because everyone's too busy watching, you know, the 1,000+ viewership stuff. And it's strange to me. It is a very, very bizarre thing on Twitch where both from the creator's end and the consumer's end, everything seems to suggest you should stay at a small, reasonable level. But the world doesn't work that way. And it is a bit odd. But it's okay. We have puppies. We do have puppies. There you go. Papa from Pixie Buns. With that comment, I think it's definitive that you count... sympathetic visage. Altatoes feel good. Why? Hold on. I enjoy the conversations and knowledge that I promote my streams. Would we still have that if I mean, I don't know. I've had more than my fair share of 1,000+ viewership streams. And I feel like they were exactly the same, really. It's just the individual doesn't get their chance to respond. If they say something I disagree with, I'll just kind of like body them and then move on. And unfairly, and it's like they don't get a real chance. I treat it like it's a debate, like, but I'm always allowed to come on top because I can cherry pick exactly what criticisms of my responses come through. So, you know, that's fun. That's fun. I look forward to doing more of that. The Guild Wars 1 playthrough was clutch. You just finished Prophecies. It was clutch? What? Clutch means like a great play made just in time. What do you mean? How was my Guild Wars 1 playthrough clutch? But thank you for the compliment. You sell your dignity for money anytime? Absolutely. Okay, so before we start off here, I do want to point out buried in the pile of Discord messages that took me a long time to respond to. Number one, big news, Grenber is back on the scene. I hope anyway. He sent me a message and I didn't respond. And so now I hope he's still around. Come on, Grenber will save this. Grenber has to pick up UMod development. I really want someone out there to do some UMod development. Can you imagine how good that is? I need... Oh, CVPCS didn't message me actually. So that's a bit concerning. I do have a new update to look at for him. I'm potentially going to be casting another PvP thing that I was introduced to, and that would be just in a couple of days. That would be a bit more of a casual thing. But what I actually wanted to talk about, I'm not going to give you the news of every single message that I got. The actual thing I wanted to talk about was, that's relevant for this stream. Where are you? Oh my god, where are you? Freedom Panic. Here we are. Freedom Panic. Hi, WP. I'm submitting my ideas for Bounty Hunter armor. The concept is building out the armor of the bones of the enemies of the desert. I probably could have taken it a lot further, but this is the initial concept. Even if you don't like these, I think the idea behind it is cool, provided are different concepts for Bones of the Branded and Bones of the Awakened. Bones of the, if I now download this image, I should be able to throw it on stream, and we can decide as a chat now which one to go for. So Freedom Panic, you're a god. He didn't get any gems or anything for that, because we're doing gem giveaways in Discord in a moment. Well, at the end of the stream. Didn't get any gems or anything for that. So, what a ledge, really. Hold on, let me actually tell people I'm live. Let me put this video. I guess we won't do an intro today. Oh, no, we will do an intro. We will do an intro. It's just, we'll do it in a minute. Let me tweet. All right, got that. Oh my god. Okay. I thought that tweet was going to be too long. I was proper pushing the... I'm getting really good at just naturally knowing what the character count is. Cap is. Okay, and then here, and then we do that. Boom, boom, boom. All right, good. Okay, so, yeah, now let me see. If I just drag and drop... What, if I drag to the desktop, and then from the desktop over, does that work? No. If I just go, add image, and we just call that image 2, and then we go desktop after that. Here we go. Bones. Oh, there we go. All right. This is a bit ugly, but we've got this. Okay. So, I mean, the way that the layout is done is a bit ugly. So, what we've got first, we'll do Bones of the Branded, shall we? All right. There is the Made of the Bones of the Branded at the top. Let's make this bigger. Where we can go kind of quite luminescent and whatnot. All right. So, what do you guys think? That one? Or we've got this one. I think I prefer this one. Freedom Panic said that they like this one at the top most, but I think it looks too branded and not warrior enough. One of the things I like about the Bounty Hunter armor is how, like, real it feels. Then there's this, and then finally there are these ones down here, which I think are okay. Hey, Dusty, it's good to see you. Yeah, I think the second one looks best. Or the third. The third one looks pretty good as well. Oh. Moving the background accidentally there. The third one does look pretty good as well, so I don't know. But that's the branded. I actually think more than any of them, though, I prefer... Let's move the camera. This is so unwieldy. The Bones of the Awakened. So check this out. I'll put chat back up. We got Awakened Bones dipped in tar with gold. We have the Awakened Bones just dipped in tar. We have Emerald Crimson. So, I think that I think my favorite is probably the top on this side. I think it's the dipped in tar with gold. Or maybe... It's just, I play so much purpley looking stuff on my Rev. People say they like the Emerald Crimson one. Like, these get a bit too grim to me. I think I like this one. What do you guys think? You're not sure that the branded have bones? No, I guess it would all just be crystals now, right? Just vibrating at different frequencies or whatever. Dipped in tar. Dipped in tar with gold. Tipped in the gold. Yeah, look, people agree with me. That's cool. Biased. Jules said, I would say the second awakened, but I'm biased. Wait, how are you biased, Jules? You're not Freedom Panic. Gold is for the Mordant Crescent. Gold will look nice in the desert. Top awakened one. The cold one looks nice, but Alright, we're going to go bones. You are Freedom Panic. Really? Look at that. See, look, I don't care about small community. Are you really Freedom Panic, Jules? I feel like I should know that. Why are you a Jules on Twitch, but Freedom Panic on Discord? What's going on there? All right, so I think we'll go with the top. Dipped in ATR is better. Oh, dipped in tar, you think? Again, I just... You chose this dumb name when you first got on Twitch. You chose Freedom Panic as your handle way later. Oh, I see. Okay. That's so weird that you have both... To me, you as an individual, dude, have been two separate people to me for how long, I don't know. You can't change your name on Twitch. Right. That makes sense. Oh, Dusty says you can. Alright, screw it. I'm going for the Bones of the Awakened dipped in tar with gold. I'm going for it, guys. Right, so we're gonna build this up now. We're gonna fix this monstrosity that you can see here. Oh my lord. So let me just get the web page up so I can properly see now. Okay. So apparently it's all the same. This is my kind of Die Wars 2. It's just using the same 3 dies on all sets. Maybe. All right, we'll just go through and favorite all of them. So it's Cinders. Oh, I didn't even consider I might not own them. Lemon Zest. I feel like I'm genuinely an artist picking colors to put on my palette. Golden Lion, which I've always been favoritism. Blah, blah, blah. I always enjoyed it. And lastly, Shadow Abyss, which was already favorited. Okay, and as far as I can see, they're going like this, and then like this, and then like this, this. Why? Oh, you know, that's fine. And then this. And then they're going this. And then they're going Golden Lion on this and this, with Shadow Abyss on this and this. There you go. And that's the full set. That's how it looks. It's very high contrast. My god. We do look quite awakened, don't we? I actually really agree that this is a very awakened-y looking set. So, what about the weapon skins then? Should we use Mordant stuff for this? I reckon Mordant would look pretty goddamn baller, wouldn't it? Do I have Mordant of everything though? So the Mordant War Club. Because look, the Mordant's got the gold on it and everything, right? The Mordant Sickle. Another Mordant Sickle. Do we dare change the Beast Slayer shield to the Mordant shield? Well, let's just see here. That does match really well, doesn't it? That does work pretty much perfectly. Let me toggle Reshade off. It's only a slight difference. I think that's not too shabba-dab, right, guys? Somehow I feel like it's kind of low resolution suddenly, which is strange. But I think maybe that's just the sharpening having turned off. Yeah. Let's try it in different lighting as well. Oh, I don't know. I don't really want to properly leave. So how about we just go Heart... Oh, no. Heart of the Mist has got some really dodgy lighting as well. Oh, I still never yesterday showed you guys the new brawling area in Heart of the Mist. So I'll do that as well right before we start here. Aqua Endercore says it looks okay. There's always, whenever we do this with the dyeing and stuff, there's always one person in chat who is like utterly lukewarm and wants the internet to know that, oh, it looks alright. There's Always, without a doubt. Sometimes, quite often, there's the trolly kind of, oh, looks terrible, lol, fashion wars, lol, comments. But there's always, and those are the ones that always get to me a little bit more, because I'm like, man, I think this looks great. Maybe I just have a very low bar, though. And lastly, we have back piece. It looks like what a Norn warrior would wear while exploring the desert. I think so, too. This actually feels very, I don't know, there's something about the helmet to me that feels super 15k armor-esque. Just like in Guild Wars 1. I don't know why. It's probably because one of my first sets of 15k armor was a similar color scheme to this. It was the Imperial, I think it was. No, not Imperial. It was assassin stuff in factions that made you look like a porcupine. It was like gold plated with spikes everywhere. And it probably feels a bit like that. Is Guild Wars 2 Hook still legit? Absolutely. And Grenber said he's pushed a new version of it. I don't know what it is. Should we look at this on the website? Let's go look. Guild Wars, he says that he came back to development and he did a new update. I just don't know what the update was. So let's see. Latest version 2.2.1 sorry, 1.2.1 changelog. Yeah, no, it's this. It's 1.2. Released on the latest Reshades version. Improved performances. Removed occasional stutter. Changing fog distance doesn't stutter anymore. Removed the sun shader edit. It was often ugly and at best meh. Due to the change in Reshade, code that prevented shaders from reloading is removed. You should now use performance mode. Shader injection point can now be changed in settings. Use it only if you know what you're doing. Oh, that's one of the things I wanted. That's what I wanted for the mirror. The mirror, guys. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't realize he did all of this. And 1.2.1, he reverted the shader change. Oh. He changed shader reloading because Reshade now does it natively, but it didn't work, so he reverted his removal of the feature of hook. Okay, cool. Was there a Reddit thread on this? Was this news spread anywhere and I just missed it? Sorry, yeah, if you post a link and you're not a sub, you'll get timed out by the bot because bots do this. So yeah, look, this is the new arena. There was an update a bit back now, which is surrender, just insta-kills you. So if you're stuck in combat and you want to make a trait change or whatever, it quite often happens that in queuing, you'll queue pop while you're in here, and then you'll load back in and you'll be like, I want to change a sigil or something, and some twat will attack you. So you can now just surrender instantly to die and go back through. Or you can surrender if you're salty that they're gonna legitimately kill you or something. You can do that as well. So yeah, it's a nice big new area, lots of space. We will get wrecked by this Condimez, by the way. We're not actually on a real build. If I frenzy then rampage, can I use the quickness boulder? I can! Oh, hype! Alright, maybe not. Maybe he's not actually a real build. He is running, full counter? No! We'll have to do this instead. Ah, he's not even attacking us. I forget what I was saying. Yeah, it's a nice big area. There's lots you can do. Some of these things are no port spots, I believe, which I just accidentally realized. I was standing here once fighting a thief, and he got really salty that he couldn't blink to me. He couldn't steal to me. So I think if you stand in the right place on these, it can stop that. But, yeah, aside from that, it's just nice. It's a lot bigger, more open. Feels pretty good. Don't really have much more to say. It's just a refinement. I'm glad that I've delayed my PvP beginner series to the point that I'll now actually be able to include this new updated version. And yeah, I'm not sure there's much else really going on. The shield looks pretty good on our back. This one clips less as well. Fine, we'll go with this. I think this works. Oh, by the way, have fun playing Axe Necro when your targets are embedded in the ground, says Ben. I'll probably move from Axe really quickly, to be honest. Yeah, I got the skill 3 on the axe instantly. Because to do the next story, I have to get to level 10. So I timed. And now the next episode, I have axe 3 straight away. So, in the next episode, I show off axe 3 and all the Death Shrouds mechanics. The episode after, we get focus offhand and staff on the alternate weapon swap. But yeah, the only thing I don't like is how obviously our shield is floating off of our back. Maybe there's a tiny backpack we can actually put on here. But the thing is, I would genuinely only want to do a Path of Fire backpack. And I'm not sure. any of them are particularly suited. The sand jackal's alright-ish. They're just going to look weird with the shield, aren't they? Well, that actually might fit kind of well. Oh, it gets disabled with it. Oh, no, hold on. Does it? Yeah, it does. When the shield is on our back. That's interesting. Probably bad, though, right? Probably. Let's turn that off. Okay. So, I'm going to get some coffee, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to play some Path of Fire. I know I've already been going a little bit here. You guys might think that the intro's already done. It's not. So, I'm only going to be about... at tops, like, 200 to 300 seconds. That's all it is. Oh, did Peon do their video? When you say just, we talked about this yesterday. When you say just, was that today or was that yesterday? Does your dog's diet consist of potatoes? No, isn't that like really bad for dogs? Is the mummy backpack from Halloween? Yeah, I think so. I think it is. Oh, and the last one we had to choose was our mini. So, what's a good mini for this map? The mini skimmer, I guess, right? There's the mini branded skimmer, or there's just the regular skimmer. We'll go the regular skimmer. Yeah. So you can hang around with us. Unless, do I have a single awakened mini? Oh, I do. I have the awakened Death Seer, the awakened Elite Archer, the awakened Occultist, and then the awakened Villager. Seeing these with the exotic rarity makes me so sad that, like, this isn't like in Guild Wars 1 where the rarity really means a goddamn thing. It was for a very brief window right at the start of Guild Wars 2, but that's it. So, yeah, there we go. We'll do that. And, yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good to find Kesho and whatnot. You guys can obviously play with me if you want to. Hopefully we don't get too crazy of a Zerg spamming the screen down. But aside from that, I'll be alright with that. So, yeah, let me just look at chat, make sure I'm not missing anything before I bugger off here. Oh, the Sand Shark. Yeah, he's cool. I do like that mini, but I think I've done that in enough videos and things already. Yeah, in Guild Wars 1, green for a while meant better than rare, but, like, eventually, I think really green... Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. It was like, it wasn't really a designation of scarcity any longer, or prestige any longer. Quite often, greens were just great quality of life, if anything, actually. Is Herald, Revenant good in open world and fractals? Liam, basically everything in the game is good open world. Basically everything. In fractals, I'm sure it's alright as well. Fractals aren't that hard that you have to discriminate that heavily. There you go. Swiss Guardian says, what skin are you using? Boom. That's what we want. That's what we got with the War Beast all the time. That's what we want. We know that we look good if people are saying, what skins are you using, right? That's the goal. The more people ask that, the better. So, at least this dye job's doing something. There you go, Jules. Good stuff. All right, guys. Okay, so, yeah. I guess I will see you all in a moment. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back. See, look at that. Look at that expert freaking time management. Do you know how I accomplished that? By pre-boiling the kettle. Oh, yeah. Does Wooden Potatoes paint a potato every day? Does he have a wooden potato for each expression? What does he do with the potatoes after a live stream? I do not paint one every day. I haven't done one for probably about a year and a half now. And I believe these were peeled. Put into boil, oven baked, delicious little roasties for a Sunday dinner. So yeah, it was pretty good. But that's it. Aqua Endercore, thanks very much. That's very cool of you. Welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and not miss. I vow, if Ewindle donates today, I vow to not miss it. There we go. I'm throwing it out there. I vow to not miss these things. Russian Indian for the win. Thanks very much for subbing with Prime there. Yeah, just a reminder, guys, if you have Amazon Prime, if you're... Oh, here, look, listen to this plug. The Expanse got picked up by Jeff Bezos, right? Or however you pronounce his second name. And so, if you just picked up Amazon Prime to get access to the Expanses next season, boom, you can give your one streamer who's super into sci-fi a cheeky little sub. There you have it. Just click the link on screen. Don't make promises you can't keep. I know. I regretted saying that out loud the second I did it. Also because it sounds like I'm trying to bait him into doing it, which is not what was going on there. But I suddenly became very aware of that. Yeah, Bless is like the next bandwagon MMO. I feel a bit like of a douche calling it a bandwagon MMO. There's nothing wrong with a new MMO having a bit of hype about it. It's not necessarily a bandwagon, is it? But we'll see how it goes. Most likely everyone will hate it, or it will do one thing really profoundly and well, and it will do other things really terribly. If my experiences in Black Desert have taught me anything. Could maybe look at it. Quick, guys, he's gone. Let's talk about Star Wars. You could talk about Star Wars with me here. I'll just be a blank slate, because I don't care too much about Star Wars. And people asking what skin I'm using. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, you need to take the time to make Reshade Guild of Sea Hook work well, and what works in core maps doesn't necessarily work in Path of Fire maps, so you have to be quite cautious about that, and exactly how you handle those things. Please pet your dog for me. Well, this dog is not actually with me here. That footage of that dog is old. But I'll give him a pet for you next time I see him, alright? Does that make you feel good? Yeah, okay, cool. Just realised you guys haven't been able to hear the game the entire time. So, cool little Chrome extension that I learned about today. Well, taught myself about today. Well, searched for today and found. Let me just put it that way. There's a Chrome extension that allows you to isolate a tab and select exactly what audio device you want it to come through for. If you do streams and stuff, it's so nice. Basically, by doing that, I can now watch YouTube videos while having my PC recording for, you know, 20, 30 minutes at a time, trying to get a single bit of ambient dialogue at each episode of the LP. So, yeah, that's given me a lot of quality of life, and I'm hoping it will make the... The thing is that with the LP, one of the things I really love about the LP is that ambient dialogue at the start and the end of the episodes. And I really hate to think about getting rid of that for the videos. But it genuinely makes the videos take so much longer to produce, just because of the logistics of figuring out what I want to listen to, which NPCs it is that says it, so I can get close enough so that they don't sound distant in the sound engine as I first find them, and then genuinely waiting like half an hour of recording doing nothing in my life except sitting there hoping that these freaking NPCs in a video game speak. Twice every episode. It's like it's such an annoying part of the production. So yeah, I've tried to sort of tweak that a bit. Alright, we already listened to the little kids. We already know about that. We got lots of Asura telling us about Glock. Now, here's the thing. We've spoken to everyone here, and now the green circle is gone. So, does that not mean... And now a new green circle has appeared down here. So, let's just follow the plot. I'm going to ignore the actual places that the green circles are, because I'm wondering if that actually means too much. And we will just, like, try and go... where the game pushes us, which is to that Asura. In fact, we know that the Asura is here, so let's do this green circle first with this heart. Where can you find that Chrome option? It's an extension. Type into Google Chrome audio device extension and it'll come up. Make sure you include the word extension, because if you don't, you'll get people on, like, Ask Jeeves and stuff saying, hey, I want to be able to do this. And you get random people in the comments saying, you're stupid for wanting to do this. Just do, like, 5 clicks each time, like, presuming to know people's PCs better. I don't know why you'd ever do that, go onto our help forum and not help, but just criticize people for their requests. But there you go, that's the internet. So there were all these poor people who wanted the same thing as me, asked for help about on the internet, and just got slapped down by nerds. So just look for the extension itself. Right. I don't know. I mean, the shield looks good, but I don't know how much value we'll get from the shield. That's the problem. If we were on dagger offhand there, we could have like blade stormed and stuff. And we actually got hit so hard by those. So I don't know. I do like the shield. I'm going to turn it off for now, though. I don't like going... in some ways, I love going sword, dagger, dagger, sword. I think that... what? Sorry. Axe, dagger, dagger, axe. In some ways, I love doing that. But in others, it's like, we don't get many skins that we get to see. So it's a bit annoying. But yeah, let's get rid of the Sanctum. And put back on this dagger. I guess we can do... We can change this axe and dagger into a different type of axe and dagger, can't we? Maybe the Shifting Sands one, since we're supposed to be looking Awakened style now. So there, this is how we look now. We got these two. So we got these, and then we got these. Okay, that's pretty cool, actually. That looks pretty good, don't you guys think? I love these, like, glyphs that appear on these. I wonder if they're translatable. Alright, okay, good. So what am I doing? Wow, did we almost finish the hut? No, we didn't. We got good progress from killing those hyenas, though. So we just need to ask around the Ellen Riverlands for any useful information. And one of the areas is here out in the front of Augury. Do we have to do the heart to get credit for this, I wonder? I guess one nice thing about fighting structures is you know that Wastrel's Demise will always give you max value. Take that branded out. Skull crack him. Wait for him to stand up, then full counter, then use the 3, then back to this. Wastrel's Demise. No crit, but still, that was pretty cool. The quarter knot, guys. We got it. Today, someone commented on Reddit that you're faking your accent. Debunked. Really? wait. Seriously? I gotta see this, man. Demeth VLK. Let's see it. You've got permission to post a link. Give it to me, baby. Oh, my God. Let's see it. Faking my accent. Ooh. It's I guess that they've seen my early videos and I sound like totally different back when I had no confidence and I would always be very throaty and not allow my voice to go high pitched because I didn't want to sound like a little girl. And now I don't care if I sound like a little girl. Drink every time I say Wastrel's Demise. It does come up a lot, but that's because I love this that skill. Oh, we actually have to kill this first. I see. The crystal defends the snake. I thought the snake would defend the crystal. Wastrel's Demise? Oh, come on. Oh, no, and I accidentally de-targeted right in the middle of the Bull's Rush. Ivis. Oh, we pulled him in with Magebane. Oh, my God, that was so cool. Did you guys see what happened there? Basically, the dude fled with a blink right after I full countered him, which attached the Magebane tether, which pulled him in right as I just automatically used Wastrel's Ruin. And, Bloom, I see why you're saying that in chat now, because it's Wastrel's Ruin. Where's Wastrel's Demise? Which one's that? That is totally a thing, I'm sure. That was really cool. Alright, let's see here. 4 minutes of Guild Wars 2 memes. I did click this, but got immensely bored. Am I in this video? Since when? Let me see here. Could it be that WP's accent is fake? In his older videos, he talks in a complete different way than he does now, and I've never heard someone talk like this before. He has a British accent, that's all really. Both people on 0 comments, 0 upvotes, which is probably correct since they're not really contributing to the discussion. Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird topic. It makes me think of... so there was a big YouTuber who unfortunately passed away. You guys probably know about Total Biscuit very recently, just this week. I've been reading a lot about the news with that. He was one of the people that influenced me to some degree in the early days, back 2010, 2012. And I remember he once had a thing where, so this is completely unrelated to the circumstance of his life this week, but he had a thing. I remember he used to do this Q&A show called The Mailbox, and in one of them, I think it was either that or it was some raging slap fest on the internet where he was furious with people who were getting his back up. But, yeah, basically he had a thing as well where people were like, oh, he's faked his accent or changed his accent or something like that. And he sounded very, very different and is a way more northern as well. And then he'd gone to do a lot of other, like, pronunciation that definitely would sound better to American ears, right? And people, like, accused it of being malicious or whatever. And it is easy to think, oh, it's you know, a deliberate thing. I've talked about this on my streams before, though. This is not the first time this has come up for me. What it is for me is every time I'm... Like, even right now as I speak to you, in the back of my head, I'm thinking about how I want to sound to an extent. Like... I don't want to sound bored. That's mostly the point. I can't stand watching people on the internet when they sound bored and they've got no energy and they just sort of sit. Well, I can stand it, but I think that you can always do better, right? So it's not that I'm faking not being bored. It's just that I want to be clear how my mindset is and I don't want to be just completely zero energy. And that's how I feel in all of my videos as well. And I think just slowly over time, my desire to be that has affected the way that I sound, you know, as one day's efforts stack on top of yesterday's, on top of yesterday's, on top of yesterday's. I talked a bit, maybe 2 years ago, how I felt like I went too far with it because I was listening to my videos and I thought I sounded like overly hysterical and like just fake and stuff, which sounds really, really horrible as well. So, I don't know, I think it's just that thing where if you have this desire in you for years to sound something or push towards something, you will, whether you realize it or not, push towards it. And I think that might have been a slight change in my voice, maybe. I don't know. But it is there. It is profound. Or what I can say is I've never sat down and manipulatively decided, aha, I wish to change. Because I actually listen to my old videos and I think I sound better. I think that the Britishness that's there in those other ones, if I could flick a switch and be the old sounding WP or the new sounding WP, I would flick it and sound like the old one. I genuinely would. Because I think there's more appeal to the thicker accent. I would just have that thicker accent and those older pronunciations. It's a weird thing as well because people proper shit themselves when it comes to pronunciation, so you get very flighty about stuff and you learn to conform very heavily. And unfortunately, that conformity means sound American as much as possible when it comes to the internet. Thank you for fighting on my behalf of the followers. Without your help, my journey would be a longer one. And I'm not full patience. My efforts seem like an unending endeavor. Every time we kill one forgotten, we get two more appear. But now I'm one step closer. If we can vanquish Augury Rock, my legend will grow to be ascension worthy. The Skalds will know the name Downwind. See, so here's a Norn in the Crystal Desert. I'm not as struck by this as the Char in the desert, but there you go.
I'm scouring the Riverlands for something. A place of special significance, possibly related to Vlast. Any ideas?
Sorry. I just arrived, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But it does sound interesting. Good luck.
Great. All that work. This is the most work we've put into one of these NPCs, and she has absolutely nothing for us. Brilliant. What's the name of the extension? It's like an audio device or something. That's it. That's all it's called. At the moment, I'm watching a lot of old content you made, and indeed you sounded really different, but just more bland. Now you're more dynamic. Yeah, you've just used language better than I did. That is exactly what I describe it as. Year in, year out, I have consistently wanted myself to sound a bit more dynamic. That's a good, I mean, almost a bit of a shitty term to describe it, but yeah, you're right. You don't want to sound too bland. And I was always aware of it, even in those early videos. It's just I was nervous in the early videos. I was nervous to present myself to the world. Now I really kind of don't care, you know? Like my worst nightmare, you know the nerd voice I do? Hi guys, welcome. It's the Wooden Potato Show. We're gonna, you know, that like, oh. Well, a few years ago, I could never, ever do that on the internet. It would just sound so cringy and terrible. And the deep fear, the real, true fear, right in my heart of hearts, is that that's actually how I sound. So you got to be like, you got to restrain your voice a little bit, and you got to like, I don't know, tense it up a bit. And yeah, so we're gonna go. All right, we're gonna do this bit now, guys. Yeah, and like, I don't know, there's less dynamism there. The Asura's voice. Yeah. I mean, I'm still scared of that. You know, doing the audiobook, how I feel when I voice like Blim.
Ah! Don't you dare sneak up on me like that. You can get yourself killed doing that in a place like this. I'm far more dangerous than I look, you know. I'm sorry. This place has me a bit on edge.
I'll wear a bell next time. You're with the Priory, aren't you? I need information.
Concerning...
I'm searching the desert for... something.
I need more?
A place of special significance. Possibly related to the Dragon Blast.
You're not working with much, are you? These lands are rich with history, so that could be any number of... Wait, Vlast, you said?
Yes. Anything come to mind?
Well, since my arrival, I've heard mention here and there of an ancient lost city somewhere in the Riverlands. A hub of forgotten activity, or it was before the fall, anyway. Supposedly, Vlast was born there. If you're looking for, how'd you put it, a place of special significance, the lost city certainly fits the bill.
Sounds like you know a lot about it. Any idea where I can find it?
No idea. Hence, heard mention here and there. All I've gathered on the topic is rumor and conjecture.
I love this. When I first heard this, a hub of...
Lost city. That must be what we're looking for. Well, I better check with the locals.
Back to the locals we go. Yeah, the fact that the Forgotten were going to have a bigger influence here was so brilliant. At this point in the story, all I had seen was a single branded Forgotten in the first map when I'd explored off the beaten path. So I was desperate for more Forgotten lore based on, you know, this is Augury Rock and this is Forgotten architecture and whatnot. I thought that was all so good. So this was a really, really big, profound moment for me. And so there you go. We finally get a bit of information. That's from Glock. He says, I do hope your search is faring well, but I'm quite busy, as you can clearly see. Will there be anything further? No. All right. You can enjoy yourself, Mr. Priory Man. Now we go and we ask again, because we got a little bit more information. So let's go back up to this Norn. Also, yes, come at me. My Tengu voice is amazing. I definitely wouldn't have had the balls to do that. Who was it? Someone said, lol, your impression of your old voice sounds nothing like your actual old voice. Yeah, that's how bad it is. I genuinely couldn't even, like, mimic my old voice anymore. I couldn't do it. I don't know. I couldn't do it. There's certain words that I say that just, I always sound completely... I mean, a lot of it was weird. Like, I would say what was the word that I would... Justicia, I think it was. Justicia or Justica. There were a lot of weird pronunciations I had mixed in there that just genuinely weren't good. But, yeah, I couldn't... So if I have a fake voice, it was the old one that was the fake voice, not this one. Because I actually can't do the old one again.
Excuse me. I have another question for you. Do you know anything about a lost city located somewhere in the Riverlands?
A lost city? Can't help you. But if you find it and dangerous things live there, let me know, and I'll come running.
I like how we don't actually let her know, and we don't get her to come running. We just leave her. It's kind of miserable. Also, by the way, what does she actually sell? Does she have a mini I've not bought yet? Now that I've helped you, will you help me? God, this is so messy. Oh, she does. I've already got it. It's so messy, the inventory and the way that they're set up in Path of Fire. The rewards and the repeatable focus and stuff in it is so confusing and badly done in POF. Oh, my God. All right, anyway, so let's go back up to the original guy now. Also, La Buvola in chat saying, what's the armory's wearing? Looks so cool. You're damn right it does. More of those. More questions and comments like that. In fact, should we dye our raptor as well? To look a little more awakened-y? Well, we can just use the same favorite colors, can't we? So we can go 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. There you go. And now it matches our color scheme, doesn't it? Maybe a little bit too gold, but still, that's pretty good. Everyone nowadays wants dynamic everywhere, dynamic gameplay, dynamic voice. I want my voice to sound like a grey wooden plank, boring and nothing new. I mean, I think that one thing I have learned more now is like that is actually totally okay. Like, I've watched a lot of stuff that is very subdued, and it's fine. It's just not going to have the same kind of mainstream appeal or whatever, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. Or sometimes it even can. I remember when primitive technology was first becoming a thing, before it's the huge powerhouse that it is now. I remember being struck by just how awesome it was that it was so subdued and quiet, and like that's its style though, and it works perfectly, you know. The pursuit of being dynamic constantly just basically comes from a lack of confidence in myself. That's all it actually is. It's that you think about all these stupid little things and you don't have confidence in exactly how you sound or who you are because, well, you're new to it, right? So, yeah. All right, let me scroll down. I missed a lot of chat. Yeah, the Guild Wars 1 NPCs mispronounced it as well, so I don't know how much it's really my fault, but yeah, it's just an example of one of the words that I'll... Like, sometimes I'll listen to myself speak, and the words that I use, I just say them... I would say them naturally, very differently back then compared to now.
You cannot hope to pass my challenge if you're
I was also, like, a lot more, crass, I guess, or whatever. Like, if you look at my early videos, I was like calling everything gay. I was like, oh, this is so gay, or this, and it's like, it's so weird to look back at now, because I would never do that now. I feel like people are too sensitive to that kind of stuff, or it's just not in my nature at all anymore. And it's so weird to, like, and that's just, I don't know how much of how accurate of an example that is, but that kind of thing I do a lot in the early videos. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I just casually, randomly said that out loud. I guess I really didn't care at that point, you know. With my friends and my life at that time, it wasn't like any... I'd never seen anyone flinch at that kind of language, so I'd never cared to moderate myself. All the voices from I Am Setsuna were great. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you agree. They were like some of the most absurd voices we could do, because the game itself was a bit boring, so we had to do something to sort of spice it up a bit. So yeah, I do kind of nuts, like way OTT.
Excuse me. I have another question for you. Do you know anything about a lost city located somewhere in the Riverlands?
There are all kinds of curiosities in this region. Lost city? Sure, why not? It wouldn't surprise me anyway. But beyond that, no, nothing specific. Ask around Augury's Shadow.
Alright, these Asura suddenly becoming very unhelpful. I hate to disturb your personal therapy session, but will you be playing Path of Fire Story today? I hope that's a tongue-in-cheek joke, because if there's genuinely like a maliciously oriented comment, you're a dick. But we've joked that that they're personal therapy sessions in the past. So I'll let it slide if it's a joke. I wish we could have glimpsed the meeting between Balthazar and Joko and see how Joko had reacted to having to entertain a god as a guest. Yeah, that would be a really cool moment. I mean, Season 4 could deliver something like that, I guess. It depends if they do the whole flashback thing. They had that question in one of the AFCs, right? Where they were like, what do you think about doing flashback-oriented stuff? I just wondered something. If I run resist on full counter, does the resist apply, thus saving me from the blind, or no? Does the resist apply first, is what I'm wondering. We could test that right now, couldn't we, as well? We could let one of these blind us and then full counter it. He's too weak. He's a pup, though. He's going to die. I'm going to do the hearts while we're at it, just because, why not? I don't see what kind of a rush we're in. So we can have the funds. How much is this game? It's 30 quid, I think. And that's, like, unbelievable value for money, by the way. It's way, way, way understated for Guild Wars, but... they really don't have a pay-to-win gems cash shop, especially compared to other MMOs that are out there. There's no sign that what they're currently doing practice-wise is going to change. It's mostly just cosmetic stuff that you'll ever get on the store. So, like, your incentive to spend more money on this franchise is very, very, very low. And it's only 30 bucks for the entire core game and the most recent expansion. It's 50 if you want both expansions, but you really don't need both. It's a very, very low price point for an obscene amount. If you just want value for money in terms of, I want to spend 30 quid and get X number of hours of game time, you could get genuinely like 10,000 hours of your life sunk doing new, different, interesting things in this game. And I'm not talking like classic MMO grind stuff. I'm talking you'll be in different maps, doing different achievements, different challenges constantly. For a pretty low price point. I genuinely think this is one of the best value for money experiences in gaming. Genuinely. People won't talk about that though, because it feels kind of shilly and weird, but it really is. I couldn't believe it when they dropped the Path of Fire expansion price down. It's obscene to me, but there you go.
So much power.
No, I haven't seen that video. I don't watch that person. It's cool though. I'm happy to hear it. Thanks for finding the glyphs. Help is scarce in the desert. Your assistance has propelled my research forward by a few weeks at least. Perhaps you should consider a career as a full-time lab assistant. You are certainly useful. If my theories are correct, unlocking Ascension should, no, strike that, will provide the key to eternal alchemy. But enough prattle, non-verbal as it is. I have glyphs to decode. Zune, Ascension expert.
By the Forgotten Gatekeeper. Flight of the Human Gods. Author unknown. The Exalted Project. Translated and encrypted by Bach.
I need a long-lost ancient ritual, and you give me a summer reading list? That's a work.
Damn, they all sound really good. Crystal Egg Care by the Forgotten Gatekeeper. Flight of the Human Gods. Author unknown. They're not the books that we read throughout the adventure. Oh, that's a good point. Shouldn't in the Path of Fire playthrough we be reading those collection stories? I guess not. Anyway, anything to trade for the extra things? Forgotten Influence Pattern. Oh, this is just extra karma, right? We trade this and then we consume what we get for karma. Oh, no. What? I don't understand what I just did there. Anyway. Mini Sand Shark. Yeah, we've already got it. Yeah, the Legacy. Couldn't we read these each time? I suppose because we missed it for the first 2 chapters, I'm not going to suddenly start doing it now. We obviously have our video on that, so... It might be... No. I do kind of want to do it because I want the refresher. It's only 50 silver. I want the refresher. We're going to do it. We're going to read this book. And we're going to go back to the other 2 maps and read those as well. So the Legacy is on this map. Let's quickly just... Oh, I have to do a heart, though. What's the quickest heart in this map? Cormyr Temple's a bit grating. This one's a bit grating. Destiny's God. Oh, I don't know. They're all a little bit long, aren't they? Let's go do this one over here. I do want to read these books. This will be good, guys. In fact, let's read the first one first. The one we just picked up first, which is the 3rd in the line, but we'll do this one now because that way we can spread the lore out a bit better. Instead of just doing a ton of hearts, which will be boring, and then a ton of lore, which will be overload. The Legacy by Unknown.
Freed from the control of Kralkatorrik, Glint was a prophetess and a powerful ally. She saved many from the Elder Dragon's notice, hoping that the world could continue after they were at rest. After the threat of the Elder Dragons faded, Glint wrote the Flame Seeker Prophecies. These were a series of predictions from the time of the coming of humans until the next rise of the Elder Dragons. While the world spun on, Glint prepared herself for the Elder Dragon's return. She created her legacy, a plan to return the world to balance. Glint said that her children would play a great role. In order to facilitate Glint's legacy, the Forgotten created the city of Kesho. There, the Forgotten and Glint studied Ascension for secrets that may help them fight the Elder Dragons. In time, Kralkatorrik awakened. From its first movement, it raged against Glint and flew directly toward her lair. With the help of 6 heroes, she faced Kralkatorrik in battle and died. After Glint's death, the Forgotten tended the legacy in the city of Kesho. Kralkatorrik said it's branded upon Ilona. We all fell or were tainted, and eventually the city was lost to the desert sands. Yet, Glint's legacy continues. Does it still hold promise, despite her loss and the extinction of the Forgotten? The answer may yet exist, buried deep within Kesho.
So, what is the perfect time to listen to that? I guess after we hear about Kesho, like right on the entrance to it, I suppose, is the best time to read that book. So for the actual LP, I'll like make sure I get that timing just perfect. Yeah, the RP was walk pretty good, wasn't it? The RP walk was pretty good. I guess we could have RP walked on a raptor as well. Maybe we'll do that on the next one. Okay, so let's... someone said that the farm... This heart's pretty quick if the event is up. It looks like the event's up, so let's go do that, shall we? Farmer's alive. All the forged are remaining, so that's good. WP, you keep mentioning this new book UI. Is there any way you can show it to us? Not in this character at this time, but it's a Living World. This is expansion stuff. It's Living World Season 4 that really introduced that user interface. The devs have expressed a desire to add it to the rest of the game. Wow, how did that full counter not proc? That's unbelievable. But we haven't... oh my god. This is actually a lot of pressure they're throwing out here. I don't even know who's hitting me. It's so hard to see what the hell's going on. This fire, it's so saturated. I'm down. What's even killing me? Are we just constantly taking damage in here, like in a raid scenario? I don't really know what this is. Yeah, it's Living World. So you will see that as our stream playthrough goes further through. And particularly when you watch my coverage of the next episode, I'm sure that the lore book UI will be back there as well. So you'll be able to see more of it on that. What I really want, I feel really bad because it sounds like it was this thing that like at least Bobby was pushing for really hard, one of the devs there, and they got in and now it's working. But my main thing whenever I talk about it is I'm like, oh, I wish that they could put illustrations in there. If you look at the Guild Wars 1 lorebook UI, it was hardly used, and it's totally unfair to compare it to a system that is now in Guild Wars 2. But the GW1 version had like the capacity to have like different fonts being represented and artwork on the pages and things. Even just small sketches and stuff I think would be amazing and just add so much quality of life to that as a system and allow the devs to do so much. Make it a really distinct tool from just regular dialogue. Like if you look in episodes 1 and 2 so far, sometimes they use the lorebook UI, but they really may as well have just done a dialogue box. They've not really tapped into any truly deeper potential. It's just a slightly more flavorful version of what they were already doing. So they're not getting max value out of the development time on it. But if they can do a thing where you can get art on there and stuff, if you imagine at any point throughout the game so far, you might press F to interact with something. You'll get a dialogue box, and it will say a blood-covered note reads, "They're coming! Scratch marks have prevented you from being able to read the rest." You'll get a dialogue box saying that. However, with the new lorebook UI, if they can get images on there, they can actually, you don't have to have it described to you. You can see it. You can see a blood-stained note that is torn, thus obscuring the juicier details. You can see that. And it's when they get to that level, I think it will be an extreme asset to Guild Wars 2. Not just, it's already an asset, but an extreme asset. And that's what I'm really thrilled by the prospect of. So I feel kind of bad because it's like, you know, they've had the passion to put this cool thing in the game that I've cared about for years and been pushing for years. And it's like, you know, I should learn to shut up and just be happy with what I'm given, right? But I once again, I'm just pushing the horizon again, and I'm like, no, this isn't enough. I want more. So I feel kind of bad, but I also do really believe in what I'm saying about these images. You know, I think that would mean so much for it. So hopefully they've designed it in a way that they can expand upon it. And not that the entire book UI idea needs to be scrapped again so that they can do the images or whatnot. But yeah. Isn't the lorebook UI just a website like how the trading post works? Yeah, I think it's something like that. I remember when it first came out, we did talk about the specifics, even going as far as to, yeah, compare it to the TP. I think there was even a dev comment on that notion, maybe? I think there was. And that it's an idea, but it would need a lot of work or something. I don't know. That's what you always hear, right? It's a cool idea, but it'd need a lot of work. It's a cool idea, but it'd need a lot of work. I'm not angry about that. That's the realities of the world we're living in, but there you have it. What if the next Living Story will have some feature update like the library? Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's probably because I've been putting off my State of the Game video for so long. And now a new episode's coming, so I kind of want to wait. But I have something in my gut about the next episode that I just feel like is going to have some big feature thing. Is it going to be build templates? Is it going to be like a big library feature? I don't know why. There's something in me, though, that makes me feel like that we're going to get something really, really good feature-wise on the next Living World. I don't know what else I can say beyond that. For PvP, I'm hoping maybe special tournaments. They'll be looking at a thing, and they'll make that decision on Swiss or special. But, yeah, I think there'll be some infrastructure thing coming up. I don't know. Maybe the glyphs on the gathering tools is our quota already hit, though, for that sort of stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I'm waiting on the State of the Game thing because we'll let the next episode come out, and then this is the ArenaNet's last chance to get build templates in before I do State of the Game 2018. Last chance. I feel that too, but where's that coming from? It seems like ArenaNet's about to give us a gift, but where's that coming from? I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just an entitled kid that feels like he's not had enough lately. I don't know what it is. I just feel like, maybe the E3 thing's bobbing around in my mind a little bit, but I don't really have that much enthusiasm or high hopes for E3. I mean, it could be amazing. It really could. But I'm not holding my breath, you know. The one side of me says, well, look, they've been to E3 before and it's been nothing. People are just getting themselves overhyped. The other side of me says, Well, wouldn't the devs be smart enough to let the community down easy early? Like, I follow Paradox so closely now. Paradox do things so well. You know, I rarely, if ever, use the Guild Wars 2 forums. I'm always on the Paradox forums. It's so weird. I love the way that they do their weekly updates. But, like, they're on the ball with stuff. They had, like, Paradox Con coming up, and people were like, oh, is there going to be some big Stellaris news? Are they going to announce this or this or this? No, I think it was another one of their games. But they just immediately, before the convention came out, and said, look, there's not going to be news on this topic. We don't have any. We're not going to get you hyped up and then upset that nothing's coming. Nothing's coming. We're telling you early. You know, like, they do stuff like that. ArenaNet should do that for E3 if E3 is going to be a nothing. Do you know what I mean? And they haven't done that. So is that ineptitude? Is that there is something big coming? It's all very exciting and strange. All right. Gift of the Oasis. What? I'm not allowed to buy. Oh, no. That's the gift. Garden of the Gods. And then we need to do a heart in the next map as well. So, where should we RP walk here? I don't really want to do the opening one. Let's do the Choya Heart. That's a cool place. Let's do the Choya Heart. Well, if they have nothing like last packs, a Griffin, some devs, and literally no game to present to anyone. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's nothing, surely they would have saved their own asses by now. Their community managers and whatnot would have seen that the community is working themselves up into a tiz over nothing, and they would have been like, okay, yeah, guys, just to let you down easy, don't worry about E3 too much, you know? Surely they would have done that. I don't know.
After long hours of prayer, the goddess of truth herself has at last revealed the answers I sought. Praise Cormyr. In her name, I will share the reasons behind our god's withdrawal from this world. And make no mistake, the gods have withdrawn. Prayers go unanswered. Ascension fails. But do not despair or rage. Our gods still love us, and it is that love that drove them to leave. When the gods first brought humanity to this world, they were planting a garden. We were the seeds, with Tyria the fertile soil in which we would thrive. Like all gardens, it would experience and demonstrate life, death, challenge, order, growth, and beauty as it matured from carefully arranged rows of potential into dynamic, evolving reality. But there was a blight below the soil the gardeners could not prepare for. A predatory threat that would consume both the garden and the nutrients that sustained it. The Elder Dragons. When the dragons rose, the gods realized a terrible truth. Any effort to save the garden would instead destroy it. Or them. If humanity were to endure under their guidance, it could not be here. Reluctantly, the gods withdrew. They had to find new soil to tend, that their faithful might someday see the full, resplendent bloom of this most glorious garden. Praise Cormyr!
Oh, I'm struck by so many things listening to that. Number one, chiefly, imagine if every chapter of the core story had a book like that. Oh, it'd be so good. And Heart of Thorns as well. Imagine the details we could have got from the people shot down over the jungle and oh my god. Anyway, yeah, this is the most explicit the devs ever get in Path of Fire, that they're going to build a new planet. And they can be that, well, not build a new planet, but, you know, tend a new garden, find a new soil. They can do that because they can rely on the unreliable narrator a little bit. That this guy, Aloko, the priest of Cormyr, he could just be a fanatic. He might not actually know what's going on. The circumstance of him getting that information from Cormyr is never revealed. And I doubt that the devs will ever reveal. Remember, he says, after long hours of prayer, the goddess of truth herself has revealed the answers I sought. Like, what does this mean? I think that the actual answer here is that Cormier probably didn't, and he's just making it up as he goes. And a bit like lore enthusiasts would on the forum, he's just speculating, right? But he's you know, doing it as a priest. We won't talk about the real world parallels there, but I think that it's nice they can front this theory so prominently in game that, oh, it's because they've gone to another world for another god, and they're doing more. So it doesn't really still explain the connection between them leaving the mists. Like, the mists are around everything and anything, right? And, like, is going to a new planet really leaving the mist? Like, these are weird kind of ephemeral, strange things that the game hasn't fully pinned down. I'll note another thing that I'm struck by with that, and that's that, oh, we can kill harpies for progress straight away, right? This whole line of reasoning that the gods left because of the Elder Dragons, it kind of robs the gods of one of the more exciting things. So for years, the community has speculated that, oh, the gods left because of the Elder Dragons. But why that wasn't always that exciting to talk about or that full of an answer is because it kind of degrades the gods a little bit, in that it's like, oh, we came here to build a cool place, but whoops, Elder Dragons. It reveals that and we've always known that the gods are not omniscient or omnipresent, and that's one of the things we like about this franchise, surely. But, like, the line of reasoning was always, oh, but what do you mean they didn't know about the Elder Dragons? What if it's more complicated than that? What if they did know about the Elder Dragons and that's why they picked Tyria, but then it went wrong? You know, like, what I'm trying to say is, I think for years we've always known that that was a possibility, but people haven't fully embraced it as the devs now have, because it's not necessarily the most exciting place to put the story, is it really? Like, oh yeah, the gods didn't know about the Elder Dragons, now they do, so they're leaving. And obviously the gods did know about the Elder Dragons because they had the vaults beneath Aurora and all that stuff. But I'm talking about that initial instance where they stepped down and arrived in Tyria at the source of Aura, or wherever you believe that to have been. At that moment when they chose Tyria, the idea is, oh, they didn't know about the Elder Dragon. So it kind of removes the gods from the Elder Dragon plot much more wholly. Like, again, like, for years, the question has been, are the gods, you know, people have even wondered if the gods were the same as the dragons, and obviously we've always known that kind of falls apart. But nowadays in Guild Wars 2 and lore speculation, we can really much more definitively say, you know, these are very, very separate things. But for a long time there, it felt like the game in many ways was encouraging us to think about them as similar, you know, facets of the same idea. And I really use facets in a very deliberate term there, because obviously we had the facets quest in Guild Wars 1, which represented the various gods as dragons, you know, and had the parallels to Glint, which we know who is of Elder Dragons and all of that stuff. And that was one of the big setup quests, mystery-wise, for Guild Wars 2. About the land unweighing. In fact, has that been resolved? I can't remember.
Faster.
God, I have to catch up on so many things. Was that resolved? The cryptic thing you get with the final facet in Guild Wars 1? What was that called? The Path to Revelations, was it? The Path... Yeah, the Path to Revelations is the quest. God, why do I know the name of that? You go to the place near Olafstead where the mists are close to Tyria. You perform the ritual with Kirsch, the Asura, trying to understand the eternal alchemy. He says, undoubtedly, this is the place to which the coordinates point. The six shall converge here. And you kill two facets, and he says, they do not divulge their secrets easily. You kill the next two facets, and he says, this is the eternal alchemy at work. Even your human gods cannot understand cannot stand against its inevitability. And you kill the last two facets, and Kirsch says, at long last, and you get a coded message from an ephemeral spirit. And Kirsch says, wait, you lead me this far only to tantalize me with further mysteries? Know this, if it takes until the sun sets on the last day of creation, until the wheels of the eternal alchemy seize up and tear apart the fabric of the universe, I shall decipher your secrets. And you can change it, and so this is what it is. You can translate it. The gods' message to the Asura is a cryptogram, which could be solved with a substitution cipher, and the message reads, an offering to those who seek, beyond the mists, beyond the dreams, on distant shores of a land unwaking, answers there lie in waiting. I'll read that again for you guys. This was a mystery set up in Eye of the North at the transition to Guild Wars 2. An offering to those who seek, beyond the mists, beyond the dreams, on distant shores of a land unwaking, answers there lie in waiting. I'm going to go ahead and guess that in the Guild Wars 1 AFC, there's almost a 0% chance somebody asked the devs about this, is there? Do you think the devs still even remember this mystery? What was the distant shore? That wasn't put to rest anywhere, was it? That wasn't settled by anything. Obviously, Kesho's journal appears in Guild Wars 2. And he has a little bit more of an insight, which says, in his later years, he recalls, I believe Varahar Fells will be my tomb, for I have no desire to leave this valley of tumbled gods. The facets have been revealed, and the cipher as well. I have mastered them. A greater understanding of the eternal alchemy is within my reach. Human gods, char gods, Norn animal totems, they are all a part of the all-encompassing eternal alchemy. I am humbled as never before by the grandeur of it, and by my own ability to conceive of such vastness. That's what he says, but you don't really get any much more detail, right? So again, a distant shore, was that just... and that wasn't a Utopia hint. Let's be clear, this was after the Utopia canning. That was not a Utopia hint.
So much power.
I bet there's only 2 people in the whole world who could genuinely answer that. And that would probably be Jeff or Ree. Maybe. I don't know. Do they have the details on that on their Eternal Wiki? According to Jeff... Oh, look, Costage coming there. Jeff Grubb has a quote on it from an interview. It's possible the cryptic message in the Path to Revelations refers to the dragons. A land unwaking could refer to the risen kingdom of Or, and answers to the origins of the dragons do lie there. That's a really boring answer, isn't it? If it's Or. If it is Or, I'd like some clarity on that. Siren's Landing was the time to do that. To give a... final emphasis. Yeah, this is the land unwaking that the gods hinted we should go to or something. I don't know. I can understand that would be Or. I imagine that in a perfect world where they'd handled the personal story perfectly and got to cover everything, like the Scepter of Or got touched on then, Livia got touched on then, all the threads got actually paid off. I can imagine they would have made it about Or. But the fact is they didn't now, so I don't really know what to take from it.
Faster.
There was a new Risen mini data mine. Are we going back to Or? Really? There was a new Risen data mine? I doubt we're going back to Or. They'll probably keep it in Alolan regions of the world, right? There's just so much world map to explore there. Oh my god, imagine if Next Living World starts touching on Joko's nature as a Lich and what he might have to do with a Risen in that sense.
So much power.
One thing Siren's Landing did so well was showing the difference between Risen and Awakened. That was so good. That was such a good call. To do episode 6 in Or right before all the Joko stuff got introduced was immaculate. Honestly, gold star to whoever really pushed for that decision. Honestly, such a good... never more has there been a Living World release so perfectly tied and timed to an area of the world. It's so good to do that, Or. Maybe I got a bit of bias there just because I love Or so much, or what Or could be. And Siren's Landing was pretty good. We got all the extra god lore and stuff there, right? The new versions of the scriptures. I miss being able to do annotated videos where I did dive into every aspect of the patches. I really miss that. Last year was really fun for that, and then frickin' YouTube deleted the idea of annotations. What am I supposed to do about that? There we had to go into the bubble for the Blade Storm, but we couldn't use it because we couldn't use any projectiles, so we kind of had to get damaged a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. A land unwaking sounds like someplace Palawa Joko can't influence. I mean, it's a great idea that this could now tie into Joko and stuff. It's just Guild Wars is so weird because there's so many little mysteries out there now that
my strength increases. I can feel
it would almost feel arbitrary to pair that with Joko at this point because it's just like I don't know. I don't know how to articulate how I feel about this, but it's just so I'd like them to resolve as many as possible and keep going through with them. It really feels like it should have been a core Guild Wars 2 thing, or a I mean a land unwaking.
So much power.
Maybe they could find a way to double down on that unwaking idea. Something to do with Joko, perhaps? And the awakened? I don't know. Hey, Rav, it's good to see you, man. You're one of the more active mods lately. Yeah, we're playing through. We're doing the lore books, which we missed during the other episodes of the series, so we're just catching up on those now. This is the third and final one now before we go to the Desolation and continue. Alodus! Sneaky. Let's see if he sees it like he said he would. Boom. I was kind of assisted a little bit because there was the duck noise, so you got RNG'd against. If it was just a regular noise, I don't know whether I would have picked it up, but boom, I got it. Hell yeah. Alodus, thanks very much, dude, as well. You sent £5. That's really sweet of you. It's quite sad that you're the most active. You've been slacking big time. It's not sad on your end. It's sad on my end, really, that A, I've managed to bore many of the mods away, but two, B, that at Christmas, if you remember, we wanted to set up infrastructure to get more mods and sort stuff out, and I just haven't done anything with that all year so far, so it's more on my end than anything else. I'm really glad to see you, though, for that reason. It's good to see you, man. HY114W, thanks very much, man, as well. Yeah, we're going to find the Choya now, and we're going to buy a book from them. That's right, the Choya are the keepers of the law, just because of the way that this merchant system works. Iridai, thanks very much for the sub as well. You guys using Prime, that's awesome. The people who are doing that are getting benefits and access to cool things on the stream, like some cool Guild Wars 1 skill emotes, and which maybe you guys can demo, and they're also helping put a couple of pennies in my pocket, so thanks very much, sir. All right, Veteran Choya Chief. Are you offering me things for trade? Wait, where's the chief? He's moving.
Enough said.
He offers clumps of dirt. Really? We can buy clumps of dirt for nomad water skins. That's funny. All right, the Book of Last. Okay. Back to the Riverlands. Wow, my warrior's explored so much. How is this a thing? This is his first time through. Whatever. Okay, let's go back up to Augury's Shadow. And the thing is now, we've got lots of NPCs to speak to and a book to listen to, so I'm just going to aimlessly RP walk in a random direction just to fill up time while we listen. Or should we find a really pretty area? I mean, it's night, so whatever, I guess. Let's get away from the camp as well so that we get pure, unfiltered lore book audio. This Book of Last provides a continuity error. Really? Well, let's listen. Let's see if I can detect it, shall we? Oh. This Choi is mad that we bought a book from his brother, and so we'll use Bash, and now he's got sicked us with spotted hyenas. You want to get away, guys? Why am I inflicting burning? Where's the burning coming from? Also, why can I not pick up this gold? That's weird. Oh my god, there's still even more. Do they have hyena pets? Is that what's happening here? Look at how low his rate of attack is. That's absurd. Oh, this one's a veteran. My god. I didn't want to slaughter an entire colony of Choya. I want to listen to some lore. Keep forgetting to swap to Axe or Fan. Alright, down he goes. We good? Throw Axe. Okay. Book of Last. Here we go, guys.
In the ancient days, Glint served a titanic master, the Elder Dragon, Kralkatorrik. Mindless and brutal, Glint decimated continents at the Elder Dragon's command. It was then that we, the Forgotten, developed a ritual to free a creature from the Elder Dragon's control. We performed it on Glint with great success. Her mind cleared, and Glint's will was her own. Yes, after Glint was freed from Kralkatorrik's madness, she gave birth to her eggs. First among these was a dragonling named Vlast. When the Branded came, he was the first to throw himself into the fray. His battles were legendary. Many times we were saved by a shadow swooping in from the sky. The people of Alona told tales for generations, both of hope and of fear, toward their protector. When the Branded came, Glint sent Vlast away. She could feel Kralkatorrik coming to destroy her. She prophesied a great legacy, an important role for Vlast, and could not risk his death as well. After the death of his mother, Vlast battled the Branded, destroying them in a vengeful swath. More poured into Alona from the north, threatening to destroy the country and all who live there. Now, as we all fall under Kralkatorrik's gaze, Vlast fights on. He has beaten many of Kralkatorrik's followers, but there is only so much that one creature, even if it happens to be a dragon, can do.
Alright, so, yeah, what's this? Sorry, I got distracted by chat because there's a juicy comment there that I wanted to respond to, so I got a little bit distracted there in the middle of this. I think one of the most important things this does, by the way, is clarify that the eggs were post-cleansing, so we're 100% clear that all those dragons will be fine. It also reminds me, that clutch of eggs that Glint had was actually quite large. It's funny how Guild Wars 2's boiled it down to two, Vlast and Aurene. But there were a lot of dragon eggs. Vlast was born by the dwarves in Eye of the North, but I wonder about all the others. I don't know whether really very much was said. And it's so hilarious that such a crucial part of the Guild Wars 2 story now is unfortunately leaning on a weird interaction in a bonus mission that may or may not be canon. That would have been a great question for the Guild Wars 1 AFC as well. Is the Glint egg clutch thing canon or not? Like, I would love to hear a more contemporary conversation with the devs about that. And what Glint was referring to in Edge of Destiny as well, where she casually alludes to people fighting her. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Let me just take a quick break from the lore here. So someone said, where is this? So I must have missed something. Neon Edelweiss? There's a conversation going on. By the way, do you think they're ever going to touch Livia again, says Neon Edelweiss, just as a question straight up. And yeah, my answer is for sure. They're absolutely going to. It doesn't... The main criticism of episode 6 right now, if you really think about it, and it's a fair one, is that it feels too out of place. Like they just randomly had some extra time to do some other stories the community were asking for, so they threw them in. Which is basically, as far as we could tell, what happened. The season was originally going to be 5 episodes, and then it ended up being 6 episodes, so they made use of the time as efficiently as possible. They took the time to go back to Ore, a brilliant location. They took the time to reintroduce Livia. Episode 6 also has those criticisms to do with the Order of Whispers, which I do think genuinely are the more solid ones. But yeah, I think that they've got plans for Livia. We've seen she's come back in current events already, for what it's worth. That's not main story, but she has been reintroduced since Siren's Landing. So yeah, I think Livia will be touched on again. It's not just that they had extra time. I'm sure that next time they have extra time as well, at the very least, we'll see more Livia stuff. Costage, however, says, I'd be surprised if they use her behind her small cameo in the Awakening Threat current storyline. If they do decide to have Joko go after the Scepter of War or the Staff of the Mist, perhaps Livia could make a return then. Her VI did have other roles in Pure. Like, I think Costage is more cynical than he should be. I think absolutely if the Staff of the Mists and Scepter of War become a thing, and they probably should become a thing because they're more outstanding stuff, right? In fact, if you look at the episode 6 ending moments, they were a bit tongue-in-cheek about the Scepter of War and about what she's been doing, and they weren't scared to embrace the fact that there's more to resolve with this character. So unless they want her to still feel like an artifice, they'll do more. It's what I said when episode 6 came out, I'll stand by. People looked at Livia's reintroduction to the plot as an answer, when it was never seeking to be an answer to Livia. It was actually the reintroduction, and what I believe episode 6 was the devs were saying it's okay to think about Livia again. It wasn't the devs saying, oh, here's all your answers to Livia, blah, blah, blah. No. It didn't give us any answers to Livia, really. It just established that she's still alive, and it directly shone a spotlight on those mysteries. So I actually think that people who viewed episode 6 as, oh, all these years we've been waiting for Livia answers, or this is what we get. If that was your perspective, you're going to hate the story. But I don't think that that's what the perspective you should have. I think the actual thing the devs were going for is, these aren't answers at all to Livia. This is just, it's okay to now ask about it. That's what's exciting about it. It's the start of a story, not the end of a story. Do you get what I mean? People who took Livia's reintroduction as the end of her story are doing it wrong, I think. Very, very, very wrong. And, yeah, so I think I have a lot of confidence we'll see more Livia. A lot of confidence. Sorry that the game's been really loud during that entire discussion there. But so Neon responds by saying, I was asking this because I remember Wooden Potato saying to a viewer who thought they might not use Livia again after that Living Story episode that he believes they definitely reintroduced her because she will be an important part of the story going forward. And that if you think that they've just used Livia for the story, then, and I quote, your sickening cynicism must have gone completely off the deep end. His comment somehow stuck with me. Yeah, I've got to be honest, I stand by that. I mean, sickening cynicism, I must have been really on one. It's probably not... I mean, it is pretty cynical. Maybe not sickeningly slow. But yeah, I stand by what I said. I think Livia will have more of a thing, for sure. For sure. It's a weird thing to suddenly start talking about here during this book, but yeah. It did feel random, but it feels less random if you view it as the start of something. So, yeah, I don't think she's going to be stuck in current events. Surely not. Surely not. Okay, what were we doing? Oh, yeah, the book. Right. The other thing, this book's really cool. I wonder if there was a way for the devs to have had us listen to this book or interact somehow with this with a raw explorable. You know what they did in the Lake Doric release where we go back to Cordicus's manor? Imagine, just imagine. I mean, doing it just for the Altar of Glost would be like the smallest thing they can do. Can you imagine if we get that again one day? A return to the Arar dungeon? All the exposition they could give that they never did in 2012. I mean, I've been an advocate for getting that as just the story mode, as an open world map that's cleansed. It's weird to think we never did get the Scavenger's Causeway in the end. We're like well deep in this territory now, and we never had this land bridge. We never had this land bridge. It's really weird the way that the devs handled this. In some ways, I respect the isolated nature of all of this, because it kind of mimics the Guild Wars 1's isolated nature of all of it. But at the same time, for years, we've all speculated at this, surely, right? Anyway. It's also funny for me to think that, they knew they were doing Path of Fire, and then they also knew they were going back to Ore, but they never had the big enough dick to push Siren's Landing all the way down just to give that sort of fake connection, even if the story had us go by airship and whatnot anyway. I don't know. Alright, so, let's continue asking. We got a little bit more news about a city. We still don't know what it's called, though.
Excuse me. I have another question for you. Do you know anything about a lost city located somewhere in the Riverlands?
Lost city? Nothing comes to mind immediately, but I'm hardly an expert. You should ask Nyala. She's in the tent just over there, tending to the children.
Alright, we're being asked. Yeah. Costage just reminded me. I completely forgot about this. But yeah, they did the hint. Like, when I say they shone a spotlight on Livia, they had her sing the Song of the Zephyrites, guys. Just out of the blue, they had her sing the Song of the Zephyrites. You're telling me that the writers are so strapped for time and like, scope management and whatnot that they'll never bring Livia back after just this year? And, like, come on, man. If they wanted to eliminate Livia as like a story, if they wanted to close that, she would not have been handled the way she was in episode 6. She would have been introduced and killed in Siren's Landing or something, you know? They wouldn't have done it the way that they did it. It's the start of the story, not the end. Livia's coming back. It is very cynical to think otherwise, I think.
Excuse me. I have another question for you. Do you know anything about a lost city located somewhere in the Riverlands?
What about the Forgotten City? The Forgotten were really interesting. They took care of Last since he was born.
Sounds like you know a lot about it. Any idea where I can find it?
What about the river folk? Suppose they might know?
Oh, yeah! Go ask the river folk.
You'll find them south of here, settled along the riverbank. They'll know more about the story.
Alright, so there you go. I like how they have the kids tell us here. Guys, I'm still not settled. I know we did a huge discussion about this back when we started this playthrough. About holding the camera. I honestly think these conversations are so much more immersive and interesting when I can first person in them. The problem is that we don't get the dialogue boxes.
And we're here to defeat you.
Prepare yourselves. Any skills you
Honestly,
can do,
look at how much more detail we get out of the characters and their faces and their gear and stuff. I really think that the first person's better.
The Ranger. I'll lure you into my traps.
But I had a really big response from Twitch that you rather the third person.
Necro skills, Anaya?
I don't know.
Duplicated.
I might go against the hive mind for the Let's Play. When we get her in the LP, you might find I'm doing first person. It just, I feel so much more connected to the characters if we do it that way. So yeah, killing Livia would have been shitty writing. Her just popping up after 250 years and then dying, meh, maybe we'd find... Yeah, it would have been meh, but it would have been a, you know, it would have in many ways been a smart move for the writers. What you gotta understand is, like, what we perceive as shitty writing, and that would have been perceived, that would have been so hard to do that well. It still would have been a good move because... what you got to understand about the writing team is they've got about 20,000 balls they're juggling and only 2.5 hands to juggle them with. So if you can eliminate a ball here or there, then boy, do it, you know? So, like, it would have been smart from that end. If they could... I could guarantee you, if they had found a way to kill Livia off and resolve her, but it be satisfying in the scope of a single Living World episode, they would have done it. If they could find a way to do it, they would have done it. Because they have to eliminate bulls. It's a bit like what you saw with Demi Beetlestone. They have to do that. And big picture, it's the smart move. But in the moment to moment, it would have been terrible. So they didn't find a way, clearly, to do it. I'm not saying I would have found a way, by the way. So instead, they've decided to embrace her as a character, which I think is the only other alternative at that point. I think. Thanks very much, Winter J. £7, dude. You guys are so cool. These little donations that just come in every now and then on the streams, they're so nice. Thank you very much. I hope you had a wonderful day too. I had a really nice nap in the middle of the day. It feels good to be back on top of Discord stuff. It feels good to get my priorities back, and yeah, it's nice. Wait, read the rest of the comment. Oh, did I just go on a rant on half of a comment? Maybe we'd find her grave or something if they absolutely wanted her dead. I don't really think that last note there changes how I feel about the thing. I don't think that would have been a good way to kill her off. WP, your Ori's game looks so pretty compared to mine. Are you using Reshade? Yes, but I don't do much with my Reshade here. Just a little bit of clarity, light, contrast, bit of sharpening. And then the depth blur in the background, obviously. For Path of Fire maps, it really doesn't affect much. Thankful for the lore galore. Well, thank the devs. They put it in the game. Lets me riff off of it. You wonder if there's a way to record the captions in the video. Yeah, maybe there's like an editing process I could do, but that ups the workload quite a lot. I don't know. Anyone notice that Spellbreaker has his F2 skill and a trait named after abilities after the main character of 7 Deadly Sins? Yeah, a lot of people notice that. There's tons of references to other media and skills and things in this game. Tons of them. Unless they wanted to use Livia's death as a plot point, just ignore that she exists. And that's essentially their philosophy from 2012. But I think that they've realized how much that stings the enthusiasts. Or maybe that's a bit presumptuous for me to say. But I think that there is something kind of nasty about that. To leave the Tome of the Rubicon as almost a nothing in the story. To leave the Scepter of War completely out. To not have anything to do with Livia despite the fact... Well, I mean, they did the POI in... By the way, because I've still not read Sea of Sorrows, I guess I'm asking Cottage here, but anyone else in chat. In Sea of Sorrows, does it establish why a Ra story mode has a point of interest called the Wreck of the Lady Livia? Does it establish why there's a ship named after Livia that Livia was potentially on in a Ra? Does it establish that? Yeah, Livia is a huge bull. Yeah, all the Berserker traits are different fighting game references. A grave isn't conclusive. Imagine if we found Livia's grave in the White Mantle Stronghold, then Anise dropping some info about her. That would have ignited a mystery again without widening the scope mention-worthy. Yeah, I see what you mean. That would be sort of like just flirting with it a little bit. That's kind of the E treatment that they give us, almost. Just drop a couple of notes in every now and then to remind us that it's a thing, but they're really not looking to touch it, kind of thing. You vaguely recall that was in the book. Was it really? The Lady Livia? Because I need to know that before I get there at the end of the personal story. The Let's Play. I feel really weird at the moment because I've realized that I could read... You know, remember we did that stream here, the Path of Fire stream, where we supplemented the story with an excerpt from Edge of Destiny. I've realized I could be doing that with the Let's Play. I could just give you a paragraph here, a profound paragraph here or there about Kaith while we're in the Grove. I could have been doing that about Logan while we're in Divinity's Reach. It would have done really well because it's only now that I'm really appreciating another flaw with the personal story, how badly it actually talks about what went down between them. I think maybe there'll be a moment I could start talking about it after Sorrow's Embrace, because that's where you really get that cutscene and that final elaboration. So maybe I can do that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the ship. It's just there's a point of interest, a wrecked ship. There's another one with one of the grandfather of Newt Whitebear, I think it is, the current guy in charge of Holbrack. His grandfather has a ship as well that's sunk there at Ra. There's two of them, one for Livia and one for that guy. I think it's either his grandfather or it might even be his dad. We all know how long-lived the Norna. One or the other. Alright, so anyway, we're here. We probably want to finish the heart so that we can ask these kind people here at the Riverlands about Kesho. So this is, by the way, some of the best ambient dialogue in terms of like being really gut-wrenching and sad. This is some of the best ambient dialogue in the game here. It's so sad. You hear about like a kid that gets ripped away from its mother's breast and now recognizes the Awakened as its parents instead of the real biological mother and stuff. It's really, really, really grim. I think that's one of the things. For a person who quit Heart of Thorns for getting overwhelmed, do you think it's a good idea to buy Path of Fire? Well, the game still doesn't tutorialize or express itself at all. It's still a complete mess. In fact, Path of Fire is a bigger mess than Heart of Thorns in terms of like getting you incentivized to experience the game and know what rewards are and why you should be excited about rewards and what order you should go through things and understanding the story. The path is all still broken. Season 1 still doesn't exist. If you're shit at the game because all you know is how to auto-attack against centaurs and Queensale, you'll still struggle in Path of Fire just as you did in the jungle. All of that stuff's still true. So I don't know whether I can recommend Path of Fire to you if you were overwhelmed by Heart of Thorns. I think it has all the same core problems. Sorry. It's great if you can get over those problems, but...
Adrenaline surging!
Path of Fire was easier for me than Heart of Thorns, says Ben Lubar, but that might just be because I'm more used to it. Yeah, it's hard to unpack that stuff, right?
I'm searching the Riverlands for something important. I've been canvassing the area in search of information.
Oh, look at this guy!
She does love visitors. But you should know something. Muriel's very old, and her answers are not always clear. Please be patient with her. And try to speak up. Her hearing isn't what it used to be.
I wonder if Grember's got a version of Guild Wars 2 Hook that can get rid of the outlines on people again. I'd love that. That would make it... And the glow as well. Imagine if we could get rid of the outline and the glow on these NPCs. Because the outline as well aliases a bit. I don't know whether you guys can see that really. But imagine how immersive this would be if he didn't glow and he didn't have the outline when we were standing here talking to him. He would feel like such a real part of the world. I really hope I haven't missed the boat with Grimber and that I can talk to him about some other features and things to put into Guild Wars 2 Hook. And then if we could just find a way to have the dialogue on the screen. Yeah, if you turn post-processing down, it does address some of it, but I still want post-processing on. Second highest, it's all still there. I think off, it goes away. Yeah, but the highlight is still on there. If we could get rid of those. Turning this highlight off would make world bosses feel so much more readable too. You guys might think, well, why don't the devs just control the aesthetic of their game in intelligent ways? But we can't rely on that. We as the community have to pick up that stuff. That's why I want someone to develop UMod for Guild Wars 2, please. Let's get skin UIs coming in. There are hundreds of thousands of people that could benefit from this and would love this and adore this. And it would be so cool and such a great part of Guild Wars 2. And for 5 years, we haven't had it, and we could have had it. UMods. It's open source. Pick it up.
Ah, and who are you? I don't know your face, but I like it.
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry to disturb you, but I was hoping I could ask you a question. Do you know anything about a lost city located somewhere in the Riverlands?
A city swallowed whole by the desert itself. Kesho. Yes.
Kesho? Is that the name of the city?
City? No, a nursery. Where the Forgotten toiled. Where Vlast's eyes first opened. Where Glint gave us her legacy.
I need to find Kesho, Elder Muriel. Can you tell me where it is?
A terrible journey across terrible lands. Beyond the sinking dunes.
I see. Thank you.
Oh my god. Oh, I got a lot to say
Kesho.
here. I love this. So
Last
first of all, isn't it
birthplace.
interesting how she...
Now I just have to find it.
Sorry, Natalie, I spoke over you. Isn't it interesting how she refutes the idea it's a city at all and calls it a nursery? I love that line because it, like, it diminishes our expectations for an entire city, something to rear scale, which is excellent. Which obviously they couldn't have delivered and didn't want to deliver, so that's fine. But isn't it interesting how she calls it a nursery, but everywhere else in the game, everywhere, even those books we were listening to, still call Kesho the Lost City. It's like they're trying to eat their cake and have it too. They love the idea of, like, the fantasy side idea of, oh, yeah, hidden city under the sand dunes. Isn't that really exciting, you know? But Uncharted 3 does an amazing thing with this, right? Like, it's cool, and but they also want to... Oh, no, it's not really a city, it's a nursery, so let's just throw that in there, but keep calling it a city nonetheless. So I think that kind of works as well, by the way. I think they do quite well there. And then this as well. What do you guys think about this as a stylistic choice? Path of Fire does this a lot. And I'll go on the record and say I think it's perfect. A terrible journey across terrible lands beyond the sinking dunes. We hear that Kesho's really far away. We also hear when we're up here, oh, the people of the Riverlands, and like the idea is we're going on some immense trek down here. Now the truth is that, what do you mean a terrible journey across distance lands? It's just so around the corner. It's about 3 minutes away on a Raptor because of all the movement power creep. It's about 3 minutes away. What are you talking about? You know, a terrible journey across distant lands. What do you guys think about that? That the devs are writing it this way, despite the fact the game doesn't represent that at all. I will go on the record before any of you respond really and just say I think it's absolutely the way to handle things. Constantly remind your audience that this is just the game's representation of a big, beautiful, immersive, sincere, genuine world. And yeah, you'll have that moment where you're reminded you're playing a game that can't represent things fully, but it keeps that mystery and it allows you to keep your imagination with these things. It keeps all of that intact. I think this is so cool. I love it when all RPGs do this. I love it when, like, in Oblivion you hear that it's like a 3-month ride to get down to Anvil or something, and in truth it's like 5 minutes on the road or whatever. It doesn't matter. It preserves that sense that Tamriel is real and an immersive and interesting, exciting place. And I feel like Guild Wars 2 in its writing, the reason why this is a conversation I want to have on this stream, is I feel like Guild Wars 2 in its writing forgot about this for a long time. And I think that's because the writers were so used to their product that they were writing for. They were so used to the actualities of the real Tyria as a game, as a product, and that they were scared of or didn't think to write it as an expansive place anymore. They didn't think to write it as a distant and broad area of the world, because they, as we players, are influenced to eventually believe Lion's Arch is just a collection of buildings. They probably, too, are subtly influenced by that. So seeing here, all constantly in Path of Fire, that concerted effort to have it be big and broad at all times and remember that and treat it like that, and to disconnect the game's representation from the world that exists in that internal wiki and the brains of the think tanks in the writer's room and stuff. I think making that concerted effort to make that separation is glorious, and I want to see them continue to do that. When we get to Cantha, I want to hear them talk about those mountain ranges in Cantha as vast distances that are like, you know, you'd have to prepare for weeks to be able to travel across. I want to hear it all be regarded in that way. Even if the game, it's just going to be one fucking map that we can zerg across with our Griffin, it separate it as much as possible. Always take that time, and I think this is really nice. This is the kind of bullshit minutia that I want to talk about. Do you remember when I did the Path of Fire? Oh, there's so much I want to talk about, guys. About POF. Oh, but I can't do it all in a video, so I guess we'll just talk about the battle with Balthazar at the end or whatever, you know? And I felt so trapped that I couldn't talk about this minutia. Well, here you go. This is the minutia I want to talk about in these streams. I love that from Path of Fire. It's all these little things I really like about the writing. This is how I justify myself when I say the writing is better than it was at core or in Season 1 and whatnot, okay? This is what I mean. This is what I really enjoy. I can see why some of you guys might not enjoy that. Maybe you think the cost of this, which is reminding people they're playing a video game and that it doesn't line up well, maybe you think that cost to the immersion is too great. I don't know, but I think this is great. Anyway, there was another thing in chat before I went off on that boring-ass rant. Was interested in Sea of Sorrows. Livia's described as having white streaked hair. Well, there's definitely the idea that she manipulates her appearance, right? Maybe having white streaked hair is only there when it's necessary to present herself as a little bit more aged, mature, to manipulate those around her. Payon says the game's confusing, but the struggle's worth it. Yeah, like proper tutorial. I'm glad that Payon said that, I guess. It's another string for our bow when we point out I'm not just a fanatic nutter that has gone too off the deep end. I may have a point to make about Corteria. Maybe. You would love removing the glow so goddamn much. My most hated part about the game. It's almost immersive in first person. Well, maybe we can. Maybe I'll ask Rember about it. I don't know. What was the other thing? Hey, WP, I know I can look up on the internet, but I'd rather ask your opinion. How do you think I should build my thief? Build a Deadeye that runs Zerk or Assassin armor and use pistol. And just do everything you can to make that unload and mark feel good. The rest you can figure out. You're an intelligent person. You're a human being with a powerful brain. You can do it. But revolve your build around that and the Signet of Malice and Invigorating Precision. Those 2 traits, you'll be a god in PvE. That's all you have to do for open world. It's one of the strongest open world builds in the entire game. Trust in yourself and go for it. WP will give me the UMod link. I asked you last night, but you missed it. I didn't miss it. I was looking for it. For you. I alt-tabbed. Didn't I say that out loud? Yeah, it's... You go... I don't know where the page is. I looked for it yesterday. But just type UMod into Google. It's like the main repository for all the TextMod and UMods versions in a list. And what you want is UMod 1.0. Don't do the later developments of UMod because they all have terrible performance and don't work well. But the original UMod release is the best one for Guild Wars 1. What we need now is someone who understands that code base or whatever to take it forward and make it compatible for Guild Wars 2. Please message me on Discord if you're even remotely interested. I'll give you all the details. If you have any talent as a programmer, if you want to hone your talents as a programmer, message me on Discord. Honestly, you will revolutionize Guild Wars 2, the landscape of Guild Wars 2. Next time you have this discussion, display a picture of Guild Wars 1's version of Metrica Province next to Guild Wars 2's. Well, Metrica Province didn't really exist in Guild Wars 1 as a name, but that area of the world, I guess, right? Okay, 20 Path of Fire review when? Probably never, I don't know, maybe. If it does come, it'll be about a year out, if it comes. When the season ends, probably. This has been the most interesting stream, but I've been completely locked into the world building. I lost the tangent a long time ago. I'm going to have to watch the stream again later today. We're just looking for a city. That's it. That's the whole story so far. There's nothing to be lost on. Maybe that Costa immersion is too great. I played the faction tutorial yesterday, and Master Togo tells you to click on your abilities. Yeah, I mean, that's a strange moment as well when they do that, obviously. But, ancillary to this discussion, I guess. Do you know what type of code it uses? UMod is devved in... No, I don't know. Here's the GitHub page for it, though. Again, like, I pretend I know what I'm talking about with these things, but I really don't. I am a bit of a dumbass, so there you can do that. Thanks very much for the host from Shadoxy. That's very cool, dude. Thank you. All right, okay, anyway. I think there was an anecdote that I wanted to offer there, but I've completely forgotten it. Whatever it was, it's gone. Sorry, I think it was someone I wanted to respond to in chat. It's over, guys. Shall we finish this heart as well? I'm quite enjoying doing the hearts today. There's another guy with dialogue here, even though he's not really marked on the minimap. Curious. It's C++. There you go.
Something you need, Wayfarer?
I'm searching for a lost city called Kesho. What do you know about it?
Kesho? Ah, yes, that's the name. Vlast's birthplace. Swallowed by the desert, according to legend.
Any idea where it's supposed to be?
If it exists, it'll be out there, in the wastes beyond the quicksand. A dangerous place to go on foot. If you intend to travel there, you'll want to make a stop at the skimmer camp west of here. The proprietor there has been selling skimmers to adventurers for years.
Years? You must see a lot of treasure hunters come through this way.
A great many, all searching for the treasures of the lost city. And to my knowledge, none have returned. You'd be wise to keep that in mind, stranger. If you journey that way, make sure to bring your skimmer along. You look like you can handle yourself, but the desert eats the unwary. Remember that.
Desert eats the unwary. Oh my god, I really, really, really love this step. How could people have not liked this step? This is one of those moments, though, where I realize I am a bit of a weirdo. Most people, this is the low light of Path of Fire for them. Oh, I have to run around pressing F. Oh. But this, to me, is, like, so cool. Again, like I said, the Cormier thing, she doesn't help us. That's cool. Embrace that. That's fine. Because you get cool moments like this where we feel lost and we have to take it into our own hands. Hold on, chat's going really fast. I'm trying to be as good with interaction as possible today. Hopefully the gameplay's not suffered too much for this. Jill said, if the code is simple, then I want to look into disabling the glow on the outline myself. UMod will definitely allow you to do that. I'm sure that Grenberg could do it via Guild Wars 2 hook as well. They'd be in different ways. UMod, the actual like texture swapping and disabling aspects of UMod, they're pretty set in stone as far as I know, and that's fine. It's the actual, it's the fundaments of UMod itself is just like it's low. It hits your frames too much in game. It's not well optimized. Someone needs to optimize it. I think that's the point. But once that's done, the principles behind UMod would work for Guild Wars 2 exactly the same as they would for Guild Wars 2. And we'd be able to create user interface skins that do all kinds of stuff. Change skill icons, change boon icons, remove the blind outline, increase the blind outline, you know, all that stuff. And we've seen combat mode has done stuff similar before, basically swapping the textures of this, the stuff on the top left. Can you imagine actually having UI reskins for Guild Wars 2? You could possibly even change this back into a circular compass again. Ah, guys. Why am I the only one enthusiastic about that? Come on. But yeah, so all of that side stuff would be fine. It's just the actual... When you run it, it tanks your frames super hard at the moment, I think is the point. So yeah, anyway, what is this? Are you going to be uploading this series to Win Potatoes 2, or is that only for patrons at first? This series? What do you mean, this series? This is just us playing this on stream and chatting with one another and talking about mind-bogglingly small details about the story that I enjoy. This will be getting uploaded as VODs onto my second YouTube channel, Wood Potatoes 2. That's not behind any Patreon or anything. Anyone can sub there, watch there. That's it. It's all fine and dandy and done. The actual Let's Play will eventually come to Path of Fire. It probably won't be... When I Let's Play this, I probably won't talk about the writer's room so much. I probably won't talk about speculation as to upcoming stuff. I obviously won't have interruptions in terms of donations from Urindle. Donation train? What? I don't think so. But thank you very much, dude. 2 minutes. That's not late. Thank you, dude. You know, those little interruptions and things won't be there in the Let's Play. It will be more about focus purely immersively on the game at all times. And I'll, like, feign ignorance where I need to and that kind of stuff. That eventually will be going up on the Patreon drive and it will go up early and stuff, yes. But we're talking 4 or 5 months away, at least, probably. I don't know. It depends how long Season 2 and 3 take me. I know Heart of Thorns won't take long. But it's the seasons between them that I'm not actually sure yet. Yeah, I saw it. Promise kept. Boom. You could, yeah, through text mod, through UMod development, if somebody makes it work, you could have loading screen replacers. I'm pretty sure anyway. And you could have your own unique loading screen for every map in the game. I'm pretty sure, especially if you comboed it with the Mumble API. And you could hard bake the old Lore UI back into it. Guys, the possibilities are enormous. The community has so much more power to do the cool shit you want to see in this game than so many of us realize. Alright, here we can see the blind. Full counter blind? Yeah, resistance applies first. Cool. That's actually extremely strong. That explains quite a lot of PvP, why warriors manage to get stuff through that. I want them to. Alright. Can you imagine being a good enough PvPer that you identify early on in your 1v1 whether they're running Revenge Counter, Enchantment Collapse, or Mage Bane? And then you had a point later in the 1v1 where you've blinded them, they're in full counter, and you know you can attack into it because in the middle of that 1v1 you've already identified the Grandmaster and now you can counter it. Can you imagine, like... I mean, that's a pretty attainable level of skill you could get at as well. That's really fun. Such a good game to get competitive in. It's so rewarding for people who really think about the game and what they're doing in it. Hey, Rain Pumpkin, it's good to see you. Just scrolled down. First time on your stream, watching your content for years. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best, dude. That's very, very sweet of you. Thank you very much. It's good to see you at the stream. Hope to see you at many more. We do it every weekend. I mean, this weekend it was a bit bad, and we're a bit late here at the moment, but we're making up for lost time. Did I speak to the Asura? Sorry, what? The Asura? I'm not sure I actually know what you're talking about. It'll be interesting to see how WP will handle Season 2 for his LP. There's a lot of dialogue for specific races, and some stuff you only learn as a char, like the name of Rox's mysterious associate. Yeah, I will definitely leave in Cottage, but that's a bit of an outlier, really. I'm still not clear on that stuff. I kind of don't want to be too revealing of what I've decided and what I haven't in terms of characters, classes, and things. But suffice it to say, we can get really exciting and interesting with that stuff going forward. I think Rain Pumpkin means Scholar Nimim, the Asura who keeps talking and talking and talking. Did I miss that when I played? Check the place east of the Skimmer Heart. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. No Asura that talks and talks and talks springs to my mind right now. Is it possible I missed it? Am I about to experience some new story? Really? For me? Oh, I'll be pretty hyped if that's true. The cool Asura Prairie NPC Nimim who keeps talking about random stuff. I don't remember this. I don't remember this. Maybe I missed it.
You fought well. It would have been an
Damn right I
honor to
fight
serve
well.
beside you. It is clear.
Oh, I
you
still had so much burst left as well. Lame. Ow. Okay, we can interrupt. Get the brake bar down. Hope, yeah, good, good. The other guy got the brake bar. Look at that. We got 17k in 3 pulses there. Let's res this guy. Do you have a link to Guild Wars 1 to buy to support you? Unfortunately, no. The links to support your favorite content creators and stuff are very new initiative, really. And they're only Guild Wars 2 oriented. The devs have really not done much as far as Guild Wars 1's concerned in terms of resale and stuff. I believe, I haven't read much of the Guild Wars 1 forum AFC. I'm really worried that I'm going to get disappointed by that. I hope the devs have got some bad... I hope someone did a thread on that where they literally just said, hey, devs, you might not be asked the important questions, so here's an opportunity. Just say what you want to say. Give us an anecdote we might not have heard before, please. I really want someone to have made a thread like that so the devs can just riff on whatever they want. But I did gloss over it, and one of the things I saw was... they hinted that they might have a new way of buying Guild Wars 1. So the problem with Guild Wars 1 right now is they've got like a package for the 3 campaigns, and they've got a package for Prophecies plus Eye of the North, and they've got Eye of the North on its own, but they don't have one bundle for everything. And they also haven't reduced the price for ages. And I mean, it's a 13-year-old game if you're getting Prophecies. So people are like, I want you to sell it cheaper. I agree that they should drop the price of it. I don't agree that sales are the way forward. If they do a sale, they just teach people to only buy during sales, and then they cut down a lot of potential customers, I think. I don't know economics that well, but it feels like it would be a mistake to do the sales route. Anyway, someone did a thread, and I think one of the devs basically hinted that they might be offering a new package for Guild Wars 1 that might contain, presumably, everything all in one, and for a discount price. Maybe a tenner, 20 quid, something like that. That could be really good for the game. I'd like that a lot. It also makes me wonder about E3. What do you think the odds are that this mobile development stuff... If you remember when Heart of Thorns came out, one of the devs on a live stream said that he loved emulating Windows on his tablet and playing Guild Wars 1 on the go. He said it was really fun to play on the go. What do you guys think? Maybe E3 might be a Guild Wars 1 re-release for mobile and tablets. And it might include some, reworks to the user interface, the way that the skills work to a certain extent. Maybe even some slight content changes, but the ability to play with other people on other mobiles and on PC from your mobile, that would be really cool. I would be very excited about that. That's about the most exciting a mobile development could get for me. And this re-release that was hinted at in the AFC, what if the re-release is coinciding with the mobile release? Mobile release for Guild Wars 1, new user interface and whatnot, and controls to make it perfectly suited for on-the-go gaming. You know, it could even include stuff like if you're in the middle of a Vanquish, you can close down the app. It will disconnect you from the servers, but when you turn the app back on, you reconnect still in that same Vanquish. I mean, that would almost be a necessity, I think, right? But if they add that kind of infrastructure to Guild Wars 1 for mobile, it would be so good. And they'd sell a lot with that, I think. Slight update to the Hall of Monuments would be kind of cool as well. And, you know, it might even make sense. That's why they do an AFC. That's why SCW and Bill Freist are so happy to do Guild Wars 1 updates right on the eve of all of these announcements, just to stir the pot a little bit. It could work, you know. They've maintained that it's just fan projects in the spare time, that the company's not interested in deving for Guild Wars 1 right now. And maybe it is purely that, but it would be kind of cool for all of it to coincide together, right? Right, so some Asura. I'm looking for an Asura. What did you guys say? To the west?
The forge came and went so fast.
One of the devs said it's impossible to put on mobile. Well, they have a team of like 6 to 10 people on mobile development, don't they?
They really seemed in a hurry. Wonder what was going on.
I feel sorry for whatever's got them riled up.
And that's been for a while. 6 to 10 people as a team for about 2 years, 2.5 years, maybe longer. I mean, the other possibility is that the mobile people they hired are just like speculatively like throwing stuff at the dartboard and seeing what might stick, and they don't have a product at all. It's just essentially ArenaNet R&D funds. Do you get what I mean? Like, just they're speculating as to a product they could do for mobile, but nothing's actually manifested for all these years. It could be that. They could have done such a thing for a big PC release as well in all this time since Guild Wars 2 came out. In fact, I'm almost positive they would have. It was just good business sense. So, what I'm trying to say there is they might have a mobile team that's got nothing to show us. It might mean nothing and go nowhere, ever. Who knows?
Just in time. I'm so hungry I could eat a choya.
Oh, what's this? Squad has ported most of their old titles over to mobile? Like Chrono Trigger? Do you mean Square? Sorry. Is that Square? It's a slight typo. This is Guild Wars 2 related, but what do you think about a library implemented in home instance to save books and save inventory space? I don't know about other way of storing them currently. Yeah, I think that let me just be very clear about the whole library thing. I get it. It's annoying lugging books around and then buying them for 50 silver and deleting them for 50 silver. And we all like unlocking stuff. Unlock account-based progression is the creme of the, it's everything for MMOs. So I get all these desires for the library. I'm excited by a library mostly, though, as just it would be a new room to explore in the home instance, a new reason to go back to the home instance. Like, I think it would be nice, but I'm actually not that fanatical about a library update. I'm really not. I'm sorry. If they did a really big update where every single book in the game, the Dermond Priory Special Archives, the books around Divinity's Reach, the dialogue, the extra books you get from Living World Season 3, from Path of Fire, from Season 4, if all of those books from all those maps were all compiled into one big library system that had it all go in there, and there's like some big reward for getting everything per Living Worlds, and then Core, and then the next Living World season. If they did all of that, I'd be pretty excited by it eventually. But that's a ton of effort, isn't it? And I just don't know how. I don't know whether they would. So I'm actually not as fanatical about it as most other people. What I actually think is going on here is it's not just about books. If you do the library, then that's fine. You've solved that tiny issue. But the game in general has a huge problem with this mess at the moment, and it extends far beyond lore books. So a library is only a part of the solution, in my opinion. I think there needs to be a bigger change in the guts of Guild Wars 2. Because you still get this kind of issue with legendary item collections and all that kind of nonsense, you know? So I don't know. I don't know really what to say about that. Anyway, God, chat, you keep putting me on crazy tangents. I'm actually trying to survive right now. That sniper's blowing me up. I don't have greatsword to evade away. If I can LOS him here, I will kill him. If he comes all the way around, we'll kill him. Let's see. No, he decided to turn around. They're a little bit smart in Perth. So you're saying it's a Guild Wars 3 announcement in E3. I think there's a very low chance for it being a Guild Wars 3 announcement. I also think a Guild Wars 3 announcement would cannibalize this audience too much. Like Miss Challengers, the 2K prize pool PvP stuff. I'm really excited about getting another one going and casting another one and all that. But if they announce a Guild Wars 3, I think all of a sudden everyone would feel quite limp about initiatives like that, because it'd be like, yeah, we'll just wait for Guild Wars 3, you know? What's the crosshair on my screen? It's called Combat Mode. It's an option that was added when Heart of Thorns came out, the first expansion, that most people don't know about because the game doesn't tutorialize anything or teach you about the systems that have crept in over the game. But it's pretty cool. You just bind it in your options. In some ways, I think this should be the default binding for the game. Oh yeah, making Cormier's library the library for players. That would be kind of cool. Less work probably as well, in terms of like you wouldn't have to make 5 separate libraries and the 5 home instances. You just make Cormier's one universal. But then you run into other weird issues where it's like, okay, now you've tied it to a very Path of Fire story. What about Heart of Thorns only accounts? What about Cogs of War only accounts? They're randomly going to be going to this library without any context of it. You know, it's... we lock off access to the library only when you get to this point in the story, but it's such a big quality of life convenience thing for the entire game and the game going forwards. And, you know, there's a lot of weird peculiarities with stuff like that. So I think it does have to be Corteria bound to an extent. Yeah, I love combat mode too. It's slightly weak in some areas though, so unfortunately I find myself having to learn both modes of gameplay at once. I've got the muscle memory for both now though, so look at this big shot. I've got all of that going. Oh, I wasn't supposed to use a skimmer till we got one, was I? Whoops. That's a lookout. Guys, give me some direction towards this Asura. Is a Guild Wars 3 around the corner, yes or no? I would say no, but I've been wrong before.
Get those skimmers back to their pins. Hey, if you can get close to one of those runaway skimmers, please try to catch
Yeah, the fact it's canon that the library's decaying doesn't necessarily stop us from, you know, that could be our reason to go there though, right? East, people are saying. Okay, east is never eat shredded wheat. It's this way. What you want is an expansion about horses? No, I don't. I don't want an expansion about horses. Leave them as just this odd, weird thing. They're so good. It's one of the interesting things about this world building. All right, Jules, it was really good, dude. Thanks very much for the dies, and feel free to offer more input on the upcoming sets too. You can go nuts with that if you like. Give me weapons and back pieces as well if you want. You can define that. I'm trying to stay in the ring. Southeast of Olishar Waypoint. Oh, what? South over here? Oh, is it that? No, that's reached the finish line. Why is that a dialogue box for the race? Southeast of Olishar Waypoint. I thought you guys said it was near the skimmer camp. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see a Guild Wars 3 as well. It's just, listen, I'm gonna just stop straight away because we could actually talk for a day about Guild Wars 3, what that means, what that would cause happen to Guild Wars 2, the business angles of it, the lore angles of it, the story angles of it, the gameplay mechanic angles of it, what audience they'd cater to. Would they look more to their roots in Guild Wars 1? Would they look at the developments of Guild Wars 2? What benefits that would have? You could genuinely talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about it. Not just speculating about how possible it is. So I'll just leave it there because it's going to distract us too much, unfortunately, guys. So southeast of this waypoint, I would call this southeast, right? You passed by him. Okay, so all I have to do is go back on the same trajectory and we'll see him. Exile, 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 exile. Why is a random NPC got so much dialogue that I don't know about? Oh, here he is, Scholar Nimim. I do hope your search is faring well, but I'm quite busy, as you can clearly see. Will there be anything further? I think I have everything I need. Thank you. Sorry, did we miss out? Did I, because I spoke to someone else at this camp first, miss this? If I did, then it makes sense why I missed this on my first playthrough as well. I missed out. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Well, what we can do is, when we finish this story journal step, we'll cancel it and re-trigger it. We've got to do that for always time for timey anyway. So, and then we'll speak to him. So we will get it, don't worry. He gets the best lines. Okay, oh, well, we will do it. We will do it. We're getting close to it now anyway. We've got to do this heart, I think, first.
I'm searching for a lost city called Kesho. What do you know about it?
Kesho? It's been a while since anybody's asked me about Kesho. How'd you come across that name?
With great difficulty, I promise you. What can you tell me about it?
You're different from the others. Maybe you are after something more than riches and glory. If Kesho truly exists, you'll find it to the northwest of here, where it was claimed by the desert. If you head that way, you'll want to bring your skimmer along. Otherwise, the desert will claim you too.
Wow. They just give us more and more information. Fenanor says, could ArenaNet really be talking about Guild Wars 1 project at E3? That's not really a thing, is it? It's probably just a card or mobile game. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's so odd to think about, isn't it? But at the same time, I think hearing about a card game is so odd to think about too. And it would just seem so... I mean, if it's a card game, it's just so so, like, empty of passion and... I can't imagine. I mean, it's a really scary thing to... Maybe they... I mean, I've got to face the real reality. If they're making a card game, surely they'd be proud of the card game. Maybe it would have something good about it. But doesn't it just strike you as genuinely the most slimy, like... I mean, I don't want to be too insulting. That's the thing. I don't want to be too insulting in case it's real, and you know, I'm going to upset someone at some point, or I may find myself covering it eventually. You know, like I don't want to. But my gut feeling, I have to be honest, my gut feeling is that it would not be a good move.
Thanks.
Maybe the internet will trust in the card game more than I would, but you know, if I could pick one of those two things, it's not that I'm a Guild Wars 1 fanboy. It's just that I would not want ArenaNet's first foray into a new franchise and style of game to be something so apparently soulless and apparently corporately motivated and apparently cash grabby. Apparently. I'm not saying it would be, but that is exactly how it would be interpreted by the world, okay? So I would never wish that on them. I really wouldn't. Has anything suggested card game other than mobile? Didn't we have... I mean, there was the Sandstorm Path of Fire, like, assets or whatever were kind of card gamey or whatever. And I think just before Path of Fire, there was a big mine showing lots of card game-looking things. So people thought that there might be a card game either in the game or tangential to Path of Fire or something going on there. So that was a little bit more, but I mean that's basically nothing. I'm not saying to you, oh look, that's evidence. I really think that's shoddy at best, right? And pretty much guaranteed to be nothing. But that was one thing I remember the community latched onto. Aside from that, no, I think it's just cynicism. I think it's just people thinking. I think it literally exists as an idea in the community's head because it would be so bad. I think.
Thanks.
Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me, chat. Has there been anything deeper than just that it would be a mobile game? So Dumac raises a very, very, very good point, and don't ignore this. Dumac in chat just said, to be fair, Guild Wars kind of has card games in its DNA, and that is absolutely true. Guild Wars 1 is an MMO's interpretation of Magic the Gathering. I mean, it really... Guild Wars 1 is a card game that you're playing in an MMO style. Like, it's got so many similarities. People played a card game sealed deck version of Guild Wars 1 with Guild Wars 1 skills at the conventions back then. If you actually look at the development of Guild Wars 1, there are a staggering number of comparisons and interesting contrasts you can make between how Guild Wars 1 was being devved and how Hearthstone was being devved, right? Which is, you know, much more literally a virtual card game. So there are honestly... it is in the franchise's DNA. It is in Guild Wars 1's DNA. Not Guild Wars 2's, but Guild Wars 1's DNA. So they can, like... If they were doing a card game, they could go on that. They could engender some goodwill based on that. And I think if you see a card game come from ArenaNet, they will be pushing that. That is the #1 thing you'll hear. You'd have, like, Mo coming out on stage saying, so guys, card games, we all love those. Here at ArenaNet, we love them too. That's why we made Guild Wars 1. You know, you'll hear him saying that kind of shit. He would have to, because that would be the only marriage that they have that would justify such a strange thing to be going for. And, you know, they'd ride that line of thinking that it's genuine passion coming from them for card games and stuff, and it's not a cash grab or whatever, because, look, card games are in our DNA. So, Dumac's right in saying that, and that should give you some confidence, but still, I don't know, for me as an individual, how much it really addresses. Because I don't see much card game influence in Guild Wars 2, which at the end of the day, for the past 5 years, not 5 years, for the past 7 to 8 years, is really what it's been all about. It's been about Guild Wars 2. Which leads us to another interesting idea of, like, okay, hold on, what if they reinvigorate Guild Wars 1 specifically so that when they announce a card game... It's all happening, guys. It's a card game and Guild Wars 1 for mobile. Whoa. Let's feed you an apple.
Just in time. I'm so hungry.
I know I'm probably doing this part very poorly and inefficiently, but, hey, I don't really do these that much. You refer to the third expansion as Cogs of War a lot. Is this confirmed or is it speculation? And if so, why do you think it would be called this? I don't think it will be called that. It's not confirmed. It's just... I talk about the third expansion so much, it's useful to have a quick term to describe it.
I owe
You
you
know,
my life.
and paint it a little bit more than just a conceptual thing, but even solidify it a little bit deeper into something. I've been a big fan of a Char expansion for a while now. The prospect of a Char expansion. So Cogs of War. The original joke is that the initialism for Cogs of War is cow, and the Char to outsiders sort of look, you know, they're like Tauran lights. They're like cows, right? So like that's the joke. But beyond that, it doesn't really mean anything. I do secretly think that Cogs of War would be a cool name for the expansion. As far as I remember as well, I don't even think I originally came up with Cogs of War. I think it was a joke someone else did for the cow thing. And or I said Cogs of War and someone else brought it to my attention that the initialism was cow, and then it stuck from there. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird like cultural thing at this point, I guess. Okay, so we did that. I know we didn't need to do that. So this is it. We just go to Kesho now. So what was the last line of dialogue that tips us off? Just go to the Western Desert. What? Because this is quite an important bit, really. If Kesho truly exists, you'll find it to the northwest of here, where it was claimed by the desert. If you head that way, you'll want to bring your skimmer along, otherwise the desert will claim you too. It's not much, really, in the end, is it, that they give us for, like, definite direction. By the way, I just want to point out, for the past 20 to 30 minutes, I've been watching the sunset. The sky was really purple, and it's now just getting dark. We're right at the last ass end of twilight right now, at 20 to 10 at night. It's been really nice. It's got quite dark in this room, but... Yeah, you know, there was some Char, a really cool bit of Char dialogue. One thing I've started to learn about the personal story Let's Play has taught me things about Core I didn't know. For all I've analysed it and looked at it and written manifestos and pages of, you know, stuff about it. And as for all I think I know the Core thing, one place where I did lack a lot of knowledge, lore knowledge for Core Guild Wars 2 is ambient dialogue. And the Let's Play has introduced a lot of that to me and taught me a lot of it, and some of it's fantastic. And one new place I will credit Core Guild Wars 2 that I never would have before is its handling of the Char. It is so good, some of the dialogue you get of the Char. There's one in the grave you guys are going to see in the next episode of the LP that's coming up.
When we get moving again, how can we avoid the Forged?
We'll have to head east. Hopefully we're far enough north to avoid the Awakened.
But at least the Forged left us alive. Are you sure risking a run-in with the Awakened is better?
I honestly don't know. But if nothing else, Augury Rock should offer better cover than open desert. Besides, we'll have to head through Destiny's Gorge anyway to get to Amnoon.
That's interesting. I thought that was actual regular dialogue, but it's not. Yeah, there's a line in the upcoming LP episode where some Silvari are like, "Oh, it's a Char. Why don't we ask him about war?" And they're like, "Oh, I love gallant knights running around in shining armor and holding the front lines and being valiant and gallant and saving the world. Oh, is that what war is like?" And the Char turns to them and he's like, "Yeah, war's awesome. The taste of blood, the sting of the sweat in your eyes, the corpses around you, the smell of death. Yeah, war's brilliant." And it's like, oh my god, the Char is scary. I love how animal and aggressive and horrible the Char can be. And you know, I had this impression that Guild Wars 2 had moved away from that too much, and definitely Living World and the expansions have moved away from that, and they've completely dropped the plot with the Char in that respect. But for Core, a lot of the dialogue around there, they're still fucking scary. They're still the bastards that I know and love from Guild Wars 1. In Guild Wars 2, in the 2012 stuff, it's just hidden in all the ambient dialogue around the world.
I'm searching for a lost city called Kesho. What do you know about it?
Kesho? Where have I heard that name before?
Whatever happened to that adventurer we ran into last year? Wasn't he looking for some kind of lost city?
Oh, that's right. That was the fellow. He swore up and down he'd found a legendary lost city, and he asked us to join his search for a cut of the treasure.
What happened to him? Where'd he go?
See the fissure to the north? He ventured into the caves beneath it, and that was the last we saw of him.
Did anyone go with him?
With so many branded in the area, we know better than that.
Shame the adventurer didn't.
See, like, not to criticize it too heavily, but a bug in the system gives us the Omicron, and I know everyone's sort of wanking off because the Char are there, but I really think it's just because the Char are there. Like, the Omicron that we see, they're not actually really... They're not what you should love about Char, I don't think. I mean, aren't they ex-Flame Legion as well? Like, what the devs basically did was they made a Norn sect of Char. The Omicron are, like, so Norn. Everything about them is, like, Norn. They don't really typify the Char in any way. So it's weird to celebrate the Omicron as much as the community has in a bug in the system. Because, yes, visually we've got them back, but really it's not a celebration any deeper than that of Char culture or anything. It's like a major twist on the Char. Which is fine. You can do a twist on the Char. It doesn't mean, though, that they've been delivering them as Core did or Guild Wars 1 did. Do you know what I mean? Like, you almost could have just had them be Norn and celebrate the Norn in all their Norniness and just put them in... what I'm saying is it's enough to make the Char the fish out of water rather than make them a fish out of water and change them a lot. Because if you make them a fish out of water and change them a lot, is it really the Char that we care a lot about here? Just because they look like Char and sound like Char. It doesn't mean that they talk like Char or think like Char. So it's really weird, and again, I appreciate that they're in the patch, but you saw, especially when Bug in the System came out, all these people proper jerking off, going, oh, it's so cool to see the Char again, I've missed the Char so much, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but did you really get the Char? Are you really thinking that deeply about the game and the story right now? You're probably not. Let's come over this way and kill Morg. By the way, that was cool. That's Guild Wars 2 in a nutshell there. We see a big fight going off in the distance, we run towards it, it's a dynamic event, there's tons of players. This is it, the spirit of the game right here, guys. So, let's see. That full counter's not going to land, is it? We're going to use our axe right as his break bar goes down. Quickness, 25 might. 64k, it's alright. We're going to counter that with the... oh, never mind. I used the wrong ability. I used the 3 when I meant to use the 2. We'll full counter this. Oh, what? I think we've got a healer with us, which is really nice. Ha! They pulse stab on us, but after all the CCs went through, so it did nothing. Remember, the act of gaining stab is not necessarily a stun break. There, full counter. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Oh, wow. He still launches us. That's interesting. Launches go through full counter, do they? Curious. Full counter again. Oh, I got interrupted there. Or maybe that was the end of Axe 5. Whirling Axe. I don't know. Got that one? Yeah, we did. Quickness, do that. Probably should have stayed for the Whirling Axe again. Break bar we can break again now. Full count of the fear. I think we missed it. Yeah, we missed it. Quick cleanse though. Does he fear and torment at once? I wonder how much ArenaNet realized the visual noise is nearly all like on all the effects that latch onto your foe. They're all the big visual noise issues. Like you see all this green splatting around. That's a necromancer attacking with an axe. That's just random small abilities, but they create such a they occupy so much space visually. But it's just because they're on that's an effect that scales with the size of the thing. A lot of this other stuff, they're mesmer effects. Mostly it's just a few mesmer animations and necro ones, but because they're really easy to access, they've scaled up like mad. I think these are mesmer staff autos, and the size of the staff projectile is really big as it comes in. I think might be what we're looking at. And it makes the screen look like a mess. If they were gone though, like, did you see that giant signet icon there? That was a necromancer casting a signet on the thing, but it scaled to be really big. I'm sure that looks really good in solo scenarios, but everywhere in open world, that shit should be disabled. Probably too many animations for them to care to go through now. Like, the feedbacks and stuff on the floor aren't that big of a deal. They're actually, and it's worth seeing those. It's never worth, like, here's the other thing. Like, when they did the visual culling before, like, and they removed time warp effects and stuff, that's dangerous because players might want to see it. There's no reason ever in PvE you have to see visually that the impact of a necromancer's axe auto attack has landed. Never will I react to that as a player. I can react to vulnerability that they've applied through the icon on the bar, and I can react to their health getting lower by the fact that their health bar gets lower. I never have to see the impact strikes, ever. So all my allies, it should cull away. Keep it local. If you're the necro, then fine, you can see it, but I really think they'd remove a lot of visual effects noises if they did that. And obviously the white flash as well. Because if you actually look at our feet, What is there? There's a glowing orb, but that's a mechanic we care about. We want to be stood in that. A lot of the other ground targets are pretty de-emphasized. I think a lot of their efforts to reduce visual noise have been too focused on the ground and not the enemy itself.
Fresh.
Well, I'm acting like an expert on everything today, aren't I? There you go. We got... It was daily as well to do that, apparently. Don't forget, guys. Mini Awakened Abomination. 3,000 golds. It drops from one of the bounties here. Alright. Find the entrance, the fissure that leads to the entrance of Kesho. So let's look back at our dialogue from these NPCs here. Whatever happened to that adventurer we ran into last year? Wasn't he looking for some kind of lost city? Oh, that's right. That was the fellow. He swore up and down that you'd found a legendary lost city and he asked us to join and cut the treasure. What happened to him? See the fissure north? He ventured in the caves. That was the last we saw of him. Did anyone go with him? So many branded in the area, we know better than that. Same the adventure didn't. Hold on. Do we see that adventurer's body in a minute? Is that what happens? What can you tell me? You're different from the others. Maybe you can go after something more than riches and glory. If Kesho truly exists, you'll find it... Okay, yeah. So we find these Roman nomads. I think the idea in the story right now is we're like well out in the middle of nowhere. And to find those nomads is quite an important thing. But so here's the fissure. Oh, I love the lighting here. This looks so good, doesn't it? Oh, I love the bit of dirt on screen. This reminds me a bit of Dry Top. Some of the lighting that we had there. Oh. Probably not in small part due to the fact we have a Dust Mite Twister here. Oh, you know, I crippled my damage when I put on Revenge Counter earlier because obviously I got rid of Mageman Tether. The whole reason I wanted to run this build again was because of the 10% Big Game Hunter update to Mageman Tether. What are those weapons? I've got two sets. One's the Shifting Sand set, which was the first Black Lion set when Path of Fire came out, I think. And the other one is the Mordant set, which are like the ultimate end game, if you will, or reward structure for weapon. Look at this bat. MVP bat zoning me out and evading. For Path of Fire. So it's all Path of Fire stuff. Alright. We need the skimmer. I wonder if you can get through this without the skimmer. I really like this sequence as well. I think this could have been really big. Imagine if they'd made this a really big labyrinth. This is such a cool idea. The devs should do this again in Season 4. Like a big underground labyrinth where you have to be on the skimmer the whole way through. I think this could be really good. But it's so shallow and short and it's done like instantly. Can you imagine if they'd made this a really big part of the map? Imagine along the lines of Silver Waste, what they did with the Pac-Man Arena. I'm not saying add like the events and the whole minigame kind of thing, but just for pure exploration purposes, that style of like size. Imagine if that was this, but that's the end over there. You know, I really like this. Nice confined. Yeah, Costage just said the same thing in chat. What's going on? Personal story videos are a lot of days apart. Audiobook was on hold. Is everything okay? Yeah, it's fine. It's literally 1 week you're talking about. There was 1 week where I've basically been quite unproductive. But aside from that, everything's still running. The audiobook, somebody did offer to do art, by the way. Once I got to all my messages, someone has offered to do some. So the audiobook hopefully will continue and I'll have more art for you with that. But personal story, there'll be another episode tomorrow. This is literally, we did Claw Island and we had about a week without the LP. And now it's back and it will continue going again. That's it. That's the whole story. Episode 1 cut content. Oh yeah, episode 1 did have that, didn't it? It had like a big underground area. Leading towards Farina. So, if I remember rightly... The entrance is down a hole over there, right? So what was over here? This was a special place, though. Here we get these artifacts, and these look a lot like the Mastery from Heart of Thorns, which the devs never added anything for. Which, again, I think was one of the big missteps of Heart of Thorns. Exalted Lore, Exalted Assistance. You can interact with Exalted Recall devices, summoning an Exalted ally or in enhancing the power of an already summoned ally. And I get that this is a bit weird because it's like, they don't actually want you interacting with any Exalted, as we'll see in the story in a second. But being able to have some interaction with that Mastery, updating it a bit so that it works. Hope must be nurtured like a newborn. This site marks the birthplace of Glint's legacy and our hope for a better world. Signed by Joso Escher. I wonder whatever happened to Joso. Well, he's the boss in the meta event. We got lots of script around. Nice touch as well. Wait, is Casey's story really going to end? Yeah, Casey died at Claw Island. We're playing the Sylvari now. Casey died at Claw Island. Alright, here we go.
Statues. And they seem to be guarding that pit. Could this be the place?
I love how they handle the entrance to this. This is so cool. This is honestly so cool. This, again, like, when talking about quality and stuff, right? Like, this is inspired. It's creative. It's perfectly well executed. There's no instance anywhere in any of the games or Living World releases that has done anything quite as cool as this for entering an instance, in my opinion. Full counter him at the end of his animation.
I can feel bad power.
Kick him. Use the 5. He doesn't have enough health. I would have loved to have skull cracked him there and then done the 5. But he's dead already. I mean, I love this. This is so cool. So you guys ready? And if you don't have the right story, and look at the concept art, if you don't have the right story step ready, you just fall weirdly into the pit there, if I remember rightly. But look at this! And then we have to actually glide. Or mount, I guess, actually.
Hello?
Hello? Commander, are you talking to me? Your signal's really strong. How'd you do that?
I jumped into a deep pit.
Good job! Wherever you are must be on a ley line nexus.
Listen, I found something. A lost city called Kesho. It's buried, so I could use your help finding my way around.
Buried city? Really? Oh, crud, I wish I was there. Describe what you see. Everything, in detail.
There's sand drifts and debris everywhere. And pedestals, like the ones in Tarir, with exalted sentries floating on them.
Alright, there's a huge amount in this instance. Including a pretty major cutscene that, to dissect properly, we probably won't be able to do on this stream. I'll probably want to pull it apart and frame by frame it somehow, so I'm not sure what we'll do there, but maybe next stream we can look at that. But yeah, alright, yeah, so if you go in the pit early, it spits you out. But yeah, look, we fall in. What a cool... And so there's... Immediately, you'll notice there is the jumping puzzle that you can climb around up here. I'm not going to do the whole JP. It's for a one-time achievement, so... blame the devs for that. If it was character bound, I'd do it again, and I'd consider that a complete part of the experience, but it's not. Very, very exciting up there, and obviously when you've got the Griffin, you can glide around afterwards, or, you know, the idea at this point, I guess, would be you'd skim her down safely. But yeah, so we're in a ley line hub. They've really built things up. It's buried, sand drift and debris everywhere, pedestals like the ones in Tarir. Again, if you skipped Heart, this is one of those moments where I'm like, if you skipped Heart of Thorns, you would really be a bit lost at this point, right? So what we got? Well, red.
Something about this exalted. It's moving, so it's alive, but it's not responding to my presence.
Wait, not responding? Poke it with something. No, wait. Don't. That's poor research etiquette. Well, maybe just a light poke? Ugh! I want to be there!
Okay. So yeah, red exalted. Very curious. I love the tint on their armor, actually. It looks really good. And they're not reacting. The order I do things in is very particular here. And don't we have a specific timer that we have to deal with as well? And it's a timer amid a ton of dialogue. Can't really remember. I guess we'll just keep going and see. So there's the door over here, which if we move to early, do we get any dialogue from coming in here? Just a token little thing saying, oh, we need to come back later? I guess not. The game just wants us to interact with the pedestal straight away, right? Do we get another one here? Unknown Exalted. This guy actually has an... Oh, they all have names, okay.
I know the Exalted and Tarir use these pedestals to sleep and recharge, but this is different. This is more like living death. And they have this red glow.
They're glowy red exalted? Ugh! I want you to poke it so bad.
I am not going to poke the Exalted for you, Timey.
Yeah, the Norn sounds like really pissed off with her shit. He does not sound like he's having any of it. That's kind of funny. So is there dialogue for each one or just the two? Yeah, man, stop with the story. We've got an 18, 15 minutes. I'm not going to be covering
These
the 18.
pedestals are dark. No lights, no sound, nothing.
Maybe the power's shut off. Look for a way to turn it back on.
You were driving the last half an hour. That's cool, Lucian. I hope your drive is over now. An hour and a half drive. That's a long drive, man. Your internet never cut out the whole way either. That's cool. Okay, exiled pedestal.
Here's something that could be a console, but it looks dead.
Huh. Probably needs a power source. Look around for a crystal or anything bright and shiny.
I hate these dialogue bubbles where they're positioned. I hate the fact that they cover my character up. I almost want it to like have its own designated spot in the UI. You know how in Guild Wars 1 had the ding and then it appeared and you could reorient it or whatever? I wonder almost whether Guild Wars 2 should have something like that. Because where they're just stuck on me like that and they cover my face and stuff, it feels really odd. Okay, so we're going to find a power source. I interacted with that again just to be sure. That we'd be okay. Let's get on the skimmer and zoom the camera out. This room is not as dark as I remembered it being. It does look good. I like the Reshade here. You get a bit of depth blur on the background as well. Oh, yeah. Wait. An adventurer came in, right? Here we are. Okay.
Found a glowing crystal and a dead body.
Hope the crystal's not what killed the body. Only one way to find out. Pick it up.
Yeah, so we heard about that guy who came here a year ago and never came back out. I don't think that's supposed to be some big long-term mystery. I think it's supposed to be, yeah, he died. And here he is. And maybe it's just the idea is that... Well, no, I think he fell and survived because he's created this tent and whatnot for himself. It looks like to be he got attacked by some kind of a creature, though, doesn't it? Maybe they killed one another? Did they put a sword in the debris or something here, maybe? Is that the little story that the devs are telling? I guess it is, right? Because they're trying to justify how he died, but it wasn't at the hands of the Exalted or whatever. Let's see the journal. Again, this would be an opportunity for the lawbook UI. If they could do images, what we see here is it says no way in and no way out. Running out of food. Have to indecipherable. Well, if they have the artistic license to scribble something out, and, you know, it's not like the other side of the lawbook thing where it's like, oh, put art on it. It's like, oh, but there's so much more development time. You've got to get the concept artist in and stuff. Not necessarily. I'd like to think any writer of any caliber can probably has a history of using an actual pen and an actual paper. And they could write it down and, like, scribble. They can, you know, like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just the calligraphy of it, you know? Or the topography of it, whichever term you want to use. So, yeah, I don't know. So we get a power cell. How this guy didn't figure this basic thing out, I don't know, but maybe in lore the idea is that this city is really far away from where we fell in. Oh, that's his skimmer, you think? Oh. Do you think he had to kill and eat his own skimmer just to survive a little bit longer? Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry. I've just depressed people there. People do that with horses, though, right? There's a particularly nice scene in The Revenant about utilizing a horse for survival. So, exotic portal.
Okay, the power's on.
What was that noise?
The door just opened. There's another Exalted inside. Not red like the others. Looks dormant. But maybe I can wake it.
Well, carry on then. You know what you're doing.
So, yeah, look at this. And then it all lights up. I love what they do with the lighting in so many of these instances. They were the masters of it. They just gave us the masterclass from the Mists instance. And now we get this one here. Is the volume okay when I just leave it at max, by the way, guys? Has it been alright? He would die from thirst faster than hunger. Well, presumably because there's plants there. There is some kind of a water source nearby. Maybe he dug himself a small well or something. Look, there's... no, that's sand. Is that water or sand? Can't tell. That's kind of cool that I can't tell that, actually. Anyway, probably sand. Come up to the mysterious glowing doors. Oh, look at this.
No! Did Balthazar send you a Joko? I will defend this sacred ground with my life!
Wait! I'm a friend.
We don't like Balthazar either. The commander's on a mission to stop him. Bast is the only clue we've got.
What have you done?
The pedestals are reviving the Forged!
The glowy red ones are forged? Good thing you didn't poke them.
You claim to owe Balthazar no allegiance. Prove yourself. Destroy his creations.
Okay, so we can do that. That's perfectly fine. I will turn the volume down for this just a little bit. So yeah, we haven't seen more of this in Living World, by the way. But yeah, so we get these forged. You get a little while to kill them. They have these awakening timers on them. So there's one. Forged Exalted. How much does the game describe what exactly a Forged Exalted is? I don't remember. Oh, no crit, really? Really, no crit? I guess I should get used to using Axe 2 for Fury. It's not the same as when you're raiding or whatever. We can full counter that. Good. And now down he goes. Alright, that was the time limit thing.
Balthazar's the reason I'm here. He's working to kill Kralkatorrik, and we're trying to stop him.
I wish you'd come sooner. Balthazar was here recently with that wretched lich Joko.
Apparently, I'm the chosen champion and protector of Glint's second scion, Oreen.
If you've been entrusted with the role of the Scion's protector, then it would be my honor to assist you. I am Sadazi. Welcome to Kesho. What you see is what's left of the Forgotten's first attempt to pacify the Elder Dragons. It failed. This site was abandoned, but a few of us remained as its caretakers.
Why were Balthazar and Joko here?
They came seeking the forgotten magics that imbue battle armor with living spirits, the same that created the Exalted. They quickly discovered they could use those magics to create these abominations, the horrors they call Forged. The Red Exalted you fought were the results of their early experiments on us, left behind as mindless sentries. In the chaos, I sealed myself in that chamber to avoid the fate of the others.
That was smart. Now you can help us make sure Balthazar doesn't succeed.
Balthazar thought he destroyed the information you seek, but the sentries he left behind were actually protecting it.
What do you mean?
The pedestals!
Your invisible friend is correct. I can reveal the secrets contained in any pedestal you choose.
Right, I've got a few questions. Joko and Balthazar were here. I get it. So the order of this story is... Fuck, I've got to go back to Night of Fires and read those notes again, don't I? Why is this all coming in one ear and out the other? Is this just me getting old? Night of Fires tells us a little bit about Balthazar making Forged. And doesn't it tell us a little bit about him moving away from the Eternal Battle and turning Eternals into Forged or something? So what is the order here, though? Balthazar is cast down. He escapes via Ritlock. He accomplishes so much. He does Lys's Mirror. He does the Bloodstone. He does... basically, all of Season 3 happens. Then he runs off and ultra quickly gets to know Joko, comes here with Joko, we'll linger on that in a second, experiments on Exalted, learns how to create Forged, pulls allies from the Mists to build lots of Forged, uses those Forged to scour the desert in search of Vlast, correct? Correct? But then he killed Vlast. Does he actually... His eventual plan is to use Oreen to tap into as a conduit to defeat Kralkatorrik, right? Why didn't he do that with Vlast? Why did he just kill Vlast? He was trying to kill us and Vlast jumped in the way, so that was an accident? My head hurts. Also, another thing. Why does he come here with Joko? How long was he in cahoots with Joko? What was Joko's stake in making things like the Forged? Does Joko make things like the Forged? Are there awakened Forged, essentially? Yggdrasil says, yes, I think that Vlast was an accident. Was Vlast an accident? He probably dealt with Joko during the months between episodes of Season 3. Oh, right, yeah, because hold on. Flashpoint is when he goes to the desert, right? It's Flashpoint. Jormag and Primordus fail, and then he goes to the desert. He doesn't have any stake in Episode 6 at all. Yeah. Joko will tell us about that side of thing. Okay. Blast was 100% an accident. You need to ask Glint if he was an accident. Oi. Who is the father, guys? Those bones of the adventure we found are a year old, and he had the power core, so probably after Balthazar, Joko were there. Oh, that's a good point. That doesn't work timeline-wise at all, though. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Hold on. So that guy that's dead...
Glint was the key. She was perfect for our purposes. A scion of an elder dragon, and a crystal dragon herself, with a mind of her own. We did all work well. Glint actively rejected Kralkatorrik, and she brought forth more scions to join our cause.
That was Josso Escher, one of the Legacy's main architects. Sadly, he was lost in the attempt to convert Kralkatorrik.
Wait. Convert Kralkatorrik?
Yes. The Forgotten dared to try. But the hunger of elder dragons is too strong. It proved a tragic failure. More of your questions can be answered by consulting the other pedestals.
Man, yeah, we're going to have to move on. This is so cool. So anyway, yeah, all right, I get it. Joko will tell us later that his access to the Domain of the Lost, Balthazar wanted to get souls because he didn't have enough only in the Fissure of the Whale, or whatever, so they struck a bargain. They came here together. That makes sense. I'm on board with that, guys. Now, let's move on to this dialogue. This is so cool. So we'd never heard about this before. We've heard in broad strokes about the previous Elder Dragon Rising and the race's attempts to deal with that. But here we hear a really pointed thing. They actually had a plan and attempted to convert Kralkatorrik on the altar of Gloucester or whatever, just as they did with Glint. That is so cool. That's amazing. What was that lore we got from the Fire Island chain as well about the Massat and Forgotten being in an alliance of sorts? Man, this is such a cool idea, but that conversion fails. I like the idea that the Massat and the Forgotten were kind of doing that together, which is why we see that they have the similarities in their armor and stuff. But then when this fails, that's when the Massat were like, fuck it, we're out. And then they tried to flee to the mists, and then everything starts fracturing and falling apart. I love the idea that their attempt to convert Kralkatorrik, in short, is the previous Rising's version of the end of Edge of Destiny. You know, a great plan, it comes together, but it fails. I love the idea that those two, you know, like they're parallels almost. Not that they have to be parallels, but just like they're, you know, I think that'll be quite a poetic thing. I think that's a really, really cool idea. And that's how Joso goes down. Wait. But Joso was alive in Guild Wars 1. Wait. So that puts that in the most recent 250 years. Yeah, this was after Glint's death. A scion, we did our work. Wait, how do you know it was after her death? Hunger of the Elder Dragons is too strong and proved to track. This was this Rising. Oh, so maybe this is actually an explanation as to why we see so few Forgotten in Guild Wars 2. Because remember, in Guild Wars 1, there's a ton of Forgotten wandering around. At the end of Eye of the North, at that point in the timeline, Elder Dragons are stirring. Forgotten are well and truly still on Tyria. They're in the mists as well, as we've seen when we went to the Realm of Torment. But the Forgotten are around. They are only in the Crystal Desert, really, and they are becoming Forgotten, but they're still around. So perhaps this is what Path of Fire here is explaining to us what happened to the Forgotten, really. And that's that they had this big struggle. Wow, that's amazing as well. That's novel material, really, if you think about it. I wonder exactly when on the timeline that occurs. Yeah, I know that Vlast... Well, Vlast didn't... Yeah, I know about... Ben, what, of course I know about the Eye of the North bonus mission with the brother of the dwarves. Why has that got anything to do with what I'm saying right now? What is that got to do with the attempt to convert Kralkatorrik? But yeah, so that's when Joso dies. Also, why they're all branded. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, but if that's what ArenaNet are doing, I wish they would have just had a little bit more dialogue here that literally says that. Don't leave me to speculate at that. Literally say, yeah, we, Joso, we all tried to... Well, hold on. Kralkatorrik only woke up 5 years ago. Well, you know, 7, 8 years ago now. So, was this attempt to convert Kralkatorrik... That has to be really recent. So it doesn't explain why all the Forgotten are gone. Sort of. Are we saying that at the point of the Pale Tree giving birth to the Commander, are we saying that in 2012, are we saying in 1325, I think that's the year, right? Yeah. Are we saying that in 1325, there is still a thriving civilization of Forgotten on Tyria? Then why weren't they around when the Zephyrites reclaimed parts of Glint's body? Why do we hear so... because... Or was their attempt to convert Kralkatorrik while he was still asleep? Or are we saying that this happened, they blew themselves up maybe a year or two before 1325? Are we saying that the Forgotten... Basically, you've got Edge of Destiny, and then very quickly, there's still crazy shit happening in the Crystal Desert. The and the timeline would be Edge of Destiny, the failure, and then... But then why weren't there many... By the way, I can't remember, in Edge of Destiny, why aren't there many Forgotten involved in the novel? Why are they, like, not around there? They were going to drag Kralkatorrik to Ore? What do you mean they were going to do? What? Yeah, presumably they would have built another altar, a bigger altar or something, or had a different plan. Yeah, nothing says he was awake when they attempted to... It proved a tragic failure. We don't get anything more on this, do we? Yeah, the battle against Kralkatorrik was 5 years before launch, 1320. That's the breaking of Destiny's Edge, the death of Glint. Glint dies in 1320. That gives a 5-year window for Joso Escher and the Forgotten to try and convert Kralkatorrik. Well, he says more of your questions can be answered by consulting other pedestals, but I don't think they do anything else, do they? Do they just hint at this? But then when did Kesho get abandoned? Yeah, Vlast didn't help Destiny's Edge either. What was their explanation for that? Why doesn't Vlast help Destiny's Edge? Why doesn't Vlast... I mean, I know the answer to this is that Vlast wasn't in their fucking minds when they wrote that novel. But what's the actual answer we figure out now? Isn't the 1325 map only with a brand reaching Glint's lair, so Aubrey Rock isn't even affected? That's another side of it as well that I'm not sure. Isn't there a suggestion that he moved really quickly afterwards? It's just the map didn't update? Oh, did Glint send him away? Okay, Vlast's explanation comes in these. That's fine, that's fine. Let's focus on this again. I've lost myself slightly. How did we nail down the timeline on this? Joso Escher is alive in Guild Wars 1. Kralkatorrik's asleep in Guild Wars 1. So, if we assume that the attempt was while he was asleep, does it all work? Are we okay? If they tried to convert Kralkatorrik while he sleeps, are we comfortable? Joso Escher, is there something that conflicts with that? Tell me, chat. Joso Escher, one of the main architects, was lost. He was alive in Guild Wars 1. He's dead by Guild Wars 2. He's branded by Guild Wars 2. I mean, he's at Augury Rock. So if he's killed in the Blood Legion homelands and then gets all the way back to Augury Rock, that doesn't really work very well. It said he moved when Morgemoth died. It's an official post before Path of Fire. Okay. No, Dragorisian says is talking about the Exalted. He won't answer all of our other questions. That's the point. What he's going to do is raise more questions. When we go to the other pedestals, we'll go into other topics, potentially. Some of them we're skirting around. I just really want to nail down exactly when this conversion attempt could have happened. Does it have to have been after Kralkatorrik awoke? Does it have to have been then? Or could it have been while he was sleeping? So Kralkatorrik is at Glint's lair all the way up till Heart of Thorns. So at that point, Joso and co could have gone there to try. I mean, that's amazing as well, isn't it, guys? That's like a hilarious other whole... We already talked on a stream about how much the devs were juggling at Glint's lair, how much history this place has. And now we're loading on as well another enormous battle, presumably that happened, where the Forgotten blew themselves up trying to convert Kralkatorrik. All before the Zephyrites appear. Joso write that book about Vlast after Glint's death. Good point. Okay, so Joso is alive after Glint dies. It has to have been super recently. Okay, that's it then. There you go. That's it. We've come to consensus now. Oh, this is messy. This is messy. So it has to be, because we have this book again. Just so that everyone's clear. Listen to this. Which one was it? It was this one, right? We won't listen to the whole thing. We'll listen to like the last page. Okay.
Yet, Glint's legacy continues. Does it still hold promise, despite her?
Oh no, not that book. Not that book. Not that book. Oh man, the UI is so good. When you close the book page, it closes the audio as well. That's excellent. Well done on reading that. This one here. No, not that one here. The legacy. Jesus. Let me just type read. No, that doesn't work. Anyway, look. Joso Escher writes a book about Glint being dead. So when did they abandon Kesho? Didn't he just tell us that they abandoned this ages ago? I need a timeline. I actually need a timeline written out of this. I need a proper definitive timeline. There's too much. A timeline of the Forgotten that covers the abandonment of the establishing of Kesho, the abandoning of Kesho, the establishment of Tyria, all of this shit. This has to be unified somehow. This is... Or I'm just not going to be able to get it all in my brain properly. They abandoned Kesho long before Balthazar and Joko arrived here, right? That was long before. So they abandoned Kesho but continued operating in the Crystal Desert, had a massive attack with the Kralkatorrik that somehow no one has ever referenced or talked about. Then the Zephyrites appear. Then they go away. Then the Dragon Blood Spear somehow... Yeah, the city can be abandoned without the race being destroyed. I agree. It's just very fiddly and weird now. And obviously, I think they've dropped the ball here. I think this is... No one writes a story to be that... This is just fiddly. This isn't fun. This is fiddly. This is not having... they probably don't have their own internal timeline for it. The too much has been loaded on the Forgotten, maybe. Over Heart of Thorns and the Living World. Well, yeah, for all intents and purposes abandoned. There is one Forgotten, obviously, but yeah. Or a few, because they turned some into forged. You're right. I'm sure they basically explained that this place was abandoned before Balthazar got here. I'm sure they said that. Welcome to Kesho. What you see here is what's left of the Forgotten's first attempt to pacify the Elder Dragons. It failed. Is the idea that this was abandoned when the Kralkatoric conversion failed? It was abandoned, but a few of us remained as caretakers. They were attacked by Joko and Balthazar. That's why you enter Kesho by jumping down a giant plot hole. They just stayed behind for that's fine. The caretakers stay behind. So the timeline, here we go. Wood of Potatoes is going to give you the timeline. Previous Elder Dragon Rising, Forgotten plus Masat attempt to fight Zaitan. Not everybody gets involved. They fail. There's a big Huar and fallout. The Masat leave. Everybody messes up. Elder Dragon, the Forgotten hatch a plan to cleanse. By the way, they said that Glint was decimating continents before. Glint was decimating continents. It makes you, Cormier's pussy little reason not to help out seem even more stupid now, doesn't it? Glint was regularly doing that. There are lots of Elder Dragon champions out there. It's not just Glint. So, the Forgotten see Glint decimates stuff. The Forgotten cleanse Glint at the Altar of Gloss in Ore. Boom. Or maybe not even in Ore. The Altar of Gloss might have just been moved to Ore by the gods at a later date. That's all good. Then the gods arrive. The Forgotten talk to the gods a lot. The Forgotten talk to Glint a lot. Through them all, they come to some consensus, disagreement as to whether the Elder Dragons will be dealt with. Glint has babies. The Heroes of Ascension come in Guild Wars 1. The Forgotten do the challenges of that in accordance with the Flameseeker prophecies. We're dealing with the Masat still at this point, who the Forgotten really don't like. The prophecy foretells their downfall. That occurs. The Brotherhood of the Dragon, by the way, are a thing, and they're like flirting around. So remains of the Dwarves are probably in alliance at this point as well. Then the dwarves all disappear, so the Brotherhood of the Dragon end up actually becoming humans. The Forgotten start creating Exalted with those humans as the remains of the Brotherhood of the Dragon. Glint continues talking about how to deal with the Elder Dragon threat. They decide that they're going to create replacements for the Elder Dragons. Here we hear, by the way, at this very pedestal, that Glint put forward multiple scions. I wonder who those were. Kesho is established as an attempt to deal with the Elder Dragon. Scions are put forward. What happened to those, we don't know. That's not a mess. That's not a plot hole. That's fine. That's okay. Joso Escher, one of the Forgotten. At this time, they also decide Tyria. They know about the other eggs. They set Tyria up distant from the Elder Dragons and Kralkatoric in the jungle. Maybe they don't know about Morgemoth. Maybe they do. But they got Tyria. They leave it in waiting. As soon as an egg gets in range, all of those Exalted will awaken. Kesho, meanwhile, keeps working. They witness the death of Glint at the Dragon's Lair. For some reason, they don't intervene and help there. Vlast is kept here in hiding or whatever at the time. After Glint dies, the Forgotten go head-on with Joso Escher writes his book. Then Joso Escher goes head-on to try and cleanse Kralkatoric in around 5 years before the launch of the game. Somewhere around here, honestly. And they all get branded and fucked up. Right before, unfortunately, the commander swaggers onto the stream like the boss that they are. And the pact becomes a thing, and Traherne makes all of his efforts and stuff. If they'd all coincided at once, it could have been really good. They didn't. That's like the history of the Forgotten. I've glossed over the fact that the Forgotten were all over the world and got pushed out, and that the Forgotten were kind of caretakers of the world at the god's behest. I've glossed over the Forgotten's involvement with the Abaddon stuff. That's everything I know and remember about the Forgotten. I've also glossed over their potential relations to the Crate and Naga. WP, would you ever play Guild Wars 1 on stream or a video again? I did, last weekend. What have I missed? Then someone make a resource. Make a nice little timeline for us. Here's what Scott McGough wrote in the Road to the Desert article in 1328. Kralkatoric kills Glint along with her Forgotten attendants, and Snaff, a founding member of Destiny's Edge. This defeat leads the guild to disband, and Kralkatoric goes unchallenged as it settles into the desert region. So Scott wrote that most of the Forgotten died when Glint died, which we do not see verified by the novel, nor properly talked about in Path of Fire. Yeah, I wonder whether there's like a... Literally, like, the Edge of Destiny kind of has like 4 hidden chapters at the end of it, which we don't get because none of Destiny's Edge were there to witness it. But there is more... It doesn't end in the desert. There's a lot of turbulence. Immediately after Glint dies, there's a lot of turbulence and the Forgotten push for Kralkatorrik right then and there. And they try to cleanse him and turn him, but it fails. I like that idea as well, that the Forgotten, during the last Rising, were being aggressed and harassed by this horrible creature, Glost. And they convert her and it works. And they're like, holy shit. And then she dies many thousands of years later. And they're back in that same situation, and they're alone now, and they're like, shit, we've got this thing that's going to do all this damage. Well, last time we tried to convert one of them and it worked. Let's go for the dragon itself. And they do it. Like, it makes sense. That really does make sense. And it's a beautiful tragedy that it fails the second time, you know? They got lucky once, they didn't the second. I like that. The way that the game has established all of this to us is awful, though. Because it's too implicit. It's not there. I'll come back to that thing. It's because they can't do it all in a 5-minute instance. Josso specifically dies after Glint's death and during another attack when they tried to convert Kralkatorrik. Yeah. So some Forgotten definitely survived. Scott wrote that in the article, but it now manifests that there was more. Okay, and so yeah, the other thing, a different topic, is just, oh, there's more Scions, guys. Who are they? Are they going to become relevant? I don't know. All right, there's one pedestal.
The most important lesson an Exalted must learn is, though Elder Dragons are unimaginably powerful, they can be killed. Each has a distinct flaw. Mordramoth, for example, dominates thought, but its most powerful asset, its mind, is also its greatest liability. Kralkatorrik's unique strength, its power to crystallize objects, is also its singular weakness. Its creations share a fundamental resonance that connects them back to the Crystal Dragon and makes them vulnerable to each other.
A fundamental resonance that makes them vulnerable. Whoa, so that's why Balthazar was after Vlast. He needed a scion of Glint to kill Kralkatorrik. But Vlast's gone now, so that means... Wait, there's one thing I don't understand. If Glint and the Forgotten knew what killing an Elder Dragon would do to Tyria, why would they rear Vlast and Aurene?
The answer is locked behind that door. If you're done with the pedestals, we can proceed.
No, one more. We'll do another pedestal. So, this is huge. This is the question for Path of Fire. How do you kill an Elder Dragon? They didn't do very well with Zaitan, and they just manufactured the Gloria Tyria at the end. They didn't do very well with Mordramoth, and they just concocted the idea of going into the dream. Here, they actually put to rest a little bit of the Heart of Thorns thing. You remember one of the biggest criticisms not just the community, I personally had with Heart of Thorns, is how ludicrous it is, and how hand-wavy and dumb it was, that they said, Mordramoth's defining thing and strength is his mind, so naturally that's how we kill him. It didn't make any sense. And so, expertly, beautifully, the devs just established that here, and they say, look, Mordramoth dominates thought, but its most powerful asset is also its greatest liability. That line just had to be in Heart of Thorns. Because that establishes in-game, like, how absurd it is or how specific that is, right? That is such an important expository line, and I wish that had been in Heart of Thorns. They put it in Path of Fire here, though, and that's good. It retroactively fixes Heart of Thorns. It really does, in a big way, so bravo there. They gloss over Zaitan, because I don't even know how fucking they can justify the Zaitan thing. Obviously, it's more exciting if we don't think of Zaitan as having a single weakness, but a huge war effort took him down, which is what I think the story all the Elder Dragons should have been about in the end, but hey. And then so the other thing, I think the other reason they don't talk about Zaitan here, they don't do Zaitan, Mordramoth, and Kralkatorrik all together, because if you list all three of them, you realize how just arbitrary and weird this is, and how just concocted it is. Oh, Mordramoth's weakness is his mind. Kralkatorrik's weakness is crystal resonance. Yeah, that sound good, guys. Yeah, that's techno-babbly enough. All right, let's do that. You know, and then to do Zaitan as well. So I think to try and avoid that, they don't talk about Zaitan at the same time. But yeah, so this isn't a lot. This is an expository. We get the Heart of Thorns one, and now we get the Path of Fire one. Kralkatorik's unique strength, its power to crystallize objects, is also its singular weakness. Its creations share a fundamental resonance that connects them back to the Crystal Desert and makes them vulnerable to each other. So this is really important and defines where Path of Fire is going now. We now have the end game set up. Taimi just set it up here, and she said, which means ... Okay, it's going to become a big battle about our baby dragon, and, you know. So they set that up, and now we see the direction. I think it's a bit of a shame that we don't have any in-game, like, evidence that's really shown this ever before, this weakness of Kralkatorik's in the years leading up to Path of Fire. You know, it would be amazing if when you were hanging out with the Char in 2012, there had been studies and scholars and things that had thought that they were tapping into it, or we saw the effects of this resonance. And, you know, if story had established and dealt with this a little bit before in the past, this could have been a confirmation rather than a left field thing. So I think it's a shame that they have to boil this entire weakness down into, this is telling, not showing, right? And what they want to do is show, not tell. So, you know, that's one of those gimmicky, catchphrasey bullshit things people say about writing and writing talent and stuff. But it kind of applies here, you know, they are telling, not showing, but it's at least there. Heart of Thorns did neither. A fundamental resonance that makes them vulnerable. So that's why Balthazar was after Vlast, and yeah, well, it's an accident. Well, that's pretty clear. Maybe that cutscene should have shown it as an accident. Maybe it should have had Balthazar scream, really annoyed that Vlast got in the way. Maybe Vlast knew as well that that Balthazar wanted to keep him alive, so that was why he was all the happier to sacrifice himself for us. I don't know. Anyway. So, and then we get into the big ticket stuff. Let's move on. What's that armor setup? It's really beautiful. Yeah, look, people are enjoying it. It's working, guys. Here we go.
Kesho is supposed to be my home, but it's more of a cage or a tomb. I prefer the open sky. I feel trapped here. This place reminds me that I cannot act, no matter how eager I am. Not until the full legacy is ready.
That's Vlast.
We encouraged him to record his thoughts for reference and posterity. He didn't contribute often, and was never glad to do it.
I believe it. He sounds super frustrated and restless. Like a genius progeny suffering through Intro to Golomancy.
So we don't get too much on that last one, which actually I'm happy with because we've had such a tornado of things to talk about anyway. But yeah, you can really feel this as being just like the egg chamber in Tyria now, right? And obviously it gets us all thinking about how we're treating Aurene and not making the same mistakes with her. Yeah, Vlast is a badass man. He's really cool. I could just imagine him flying around here feeling caged. This doesn't say that he's locked here while his mother dies and stuff, though. I guess that exposition comes a little bit later. You can tell what the devs really wanted to do was have another Crystal of Vlast down here, but it would just never make sense, so they concoct the recording thing instead. Good job with keeping as much of this like optional as is needed as well.
I can't stand it any longer. The constant talk of duty and destiny, the forced reverence. It disgusts me, enrages me. My exalted attendants are durable, but still mortal, insignificant. They quake with fear at the slightest angry hiss. I have a job to do, and the power to do it. They can't help me. Why do they pretend they can?
Sadly, Vlast matured in isolation. We didn't know how to socialize him properly until it was too late. By the time we realized Vlast needed to bond with mortal races as Glint had, he no longer could, nor cared to.
This is really fascinating. So, I know Costage is saying in chat that this is the bit that explains why he didn't help Glint. I wish they more directly pointed to it, though. They need to directly point to stuff. Stop leaving us to infer. I don't want to infer that this is why he didn't help his mum from being killed. Obviously, that's a huge setback. The Forgotten probably would have even thought about that. And there's a discussion to be had there, how they could justify keeping Vlas hidden during a moment like that. But they don't have that discussion in Path of Fire, and they should have had that discussion. I don't want them to infer to it. Anyway, here's the other thing. There's a bit of a suggestion here. I don't think the devs want us to think about this, but they've made me think about it. Sadly, Vlas matured in isolation. We didn't know how to socialize him properly until it was too late. By the time we realized Vlas needed to bond with mortal races as Glint had, he no longer could nor cared to. Now, let's think about this. Glint's earliest life that we know about was as Vlas, a fully grown Elder Dragon champion destroying continents. Then she's cleansed, and it's only after that that she starts bonding, right? But here, the Forgotten are suggesting that because Vlas matured already, he'll never be able to bond. But isn't that bullshit? Because Glint will have been mature when she started bonding and when she became empathetic. It may have taken her a few hundred years or whatever. But, so isn't that a bit weird? That they're saying, is it until it's too late? So if we respect the game and say it was too late, doesn't that then suggest that Glint, the earliest point in Glint's history may not have been as a thing ravaging continents, but maybe when Glint was young, she too had a moment to socialize and bond somehow, and then started doing daddy's bidding at tons, and then got clean. I don't know, like, what is kind of interesting. Ewendell proposes that when, so essentially what you're saying is that when Glorst became Glint, it's like she was young again kind of thing, and then that was the start of her development. What's wrong with inferring? It doesn't make writing more engaging when I agree that you can infer to some things, obviously, and I agree not everything needs to be listed out. But I don't know how much of this stream you've watched or the prior streams. I don't know how much you know about Guild Wars. But the fact of the matter is they are leaving things that... There's no excitement or mystery to revel in what they're inferring. These should just be cut and dry, lay it on the table, and be done. Right? And then we don't have to think about it or discuss it anymore. Not every single little thing should become a massive discussion because it leaves the community debased. It leaves you unclear on things. There's sometimes for putting things to bed. And believe me, this is one of them. All of this is way too much inferring. There's a time and a place for it, and it's not every single little thing. I don't think, anyway. Like, when's the game ever going to circle back to these things? It's not. It's a waste of time to circle back to these things. I want a clear understanding of what's going on, not to be constantly in the dark, because that's not what this game's trying to get you excited about. You know, we're not playing Dear Esther here. We're not playing an abstract, surreal experience that everyone, you know, the entire thrill of it is to go on the forums and discuss what's going on. There's supposed to be something a bit more tangible, and I think that an instance like this is trying to be expository, and an instance like this is trying to divulge that information. But instead of really just nailing it down, they've got the nail in place, but they don't hit the hammer on it. That's how I'm feeling anyway, coming through all of it. I get the idea is it's too late. It's too late. Maybe you could give Vlas a few hundred years, and then, yeah, he'd be fine. But in those 100 years, you get... Kralkatorrik's awake now, and he's blowing things up now, and he's creating the Dragon Brand now. And so, yeah, a few hundred years, but that's a lot of death. It's too late, right? I get that could be what they mean, and that's probably the best way to take this. Vlas matured in isolation. We didn't know how to socialize him properly until it's too late. Yeah, we might get him in a few hundred years, but come on. That wasn't the plan. And I like the idea. Absolutely, I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, if you're raised in isolation, your morality, everything about you is going to be a little bit off. I don't question that. A lot of people in chat seem to be trying to defend that side of it. You don't have to defend that. You're right. That's fine. The Book of Vlas says that Glint sent Vlas into isolation to hide from Kralkatorrik, but did he not meet anyone before that? He says the recordings he misses the open sky when he was young. Does he say in the recordings he misses open sky while he's young? Maybe there were small moments. Yeah, Jessica Price did have an interesting comment about the immaculate conception of Glint. Look, every good RPG needs a moment of immaculate conception, okay? All right, here we go, guys. This is it then. So, I mean, we all kind of know what this is leading to now. We know what the Forgotten have been trying to do. And so when we go through this door, again, this is all about being expository. And here you will see they nail stuff down. This cutscene we'll probably watch on the next stream as well, because there's a lot here, including a potential hint at the Deep Sea Dragon.
You can't beat us all.
Oh, we get our token battle for the people who don't care about story.
Kill them.
This is nice. Oh, I gotta get out of that. Those lava fonts apply tons of combos. That's interesting. What's that called, I wonder? Burning Bullet, Twin Bolt, Burning Bullet. What was the lava font called? Draining Force, Deploy Mortar. Deploy Mortar, really? Alright.
So much power.
Oh my god, come on. There we go. I was literally just AFK auto-attacking there. Oh, I just full counted right from the knockdown. I thought you had a break bar. Alright.
Curious. The door isn't responding. It must have been damaged during Joko and Balthazar's attack.
You're in luck because the commander is good at smashing things.
Oh, people are saying that there's a 5th pedestal? Really? Okay, hold on. Let's go back. So we get a strange burning scroll. That's the same thing. That's a really nice touch as well. That's the same as we get with Night of Fires. They were strange burning scrolls. Where's the last pedestal? Which one did I miss? Oh, it's marked on the map. It's all the way over here. He will still come, right? Here we'll see how well this instance is coded. Come on, Sir Dizzy. Oh my god, we have to walk. We have to wait a long time, but you should make it. But was Glint born of Kralkatorrik, or was she a normal dragon and was corrupted? I can't remember what they've said outside of the game now on that. There have been comments.
So easy, and the others tell me I must wait. That before the real work begins, the whole legacy must ripen and mature. I am ready now. Kralkatorrik continues to grow in power, and my mother's death stands unavenged. I am my mother's son. I will wait. I will serve the glorious purpose she and the Forgotten set for me. Though the snakes and their golden servants speak as though it is their purpose, and Glint merely lent it her name. So in her name, I will act. Until the full legacy is ready, I will contain Kralkatorrik and cull its branded horde.
Okay, perfect, brilliant. All right, all that criticism I gave a second ago is gone. This is it. There you go. Look, they hit on the net. They still skirt around. They're obviously scared to talk about how to justify why Vlast and the Forgotten didn't assist in Edge of Destiny. They are scared to talk to that about us. They're hoping we won't ask that question because they don't have a good answer for it. Why did they? Because, come on, they would have... I think it justifiably makes some laws. So they skirt around that. Instead, they give us not a recording of the moment that he's forced to stay, because then that's like, well, how could the Forgotten stop him? They've just established that he's really strong and they can't do anything, and they're even scared of him. They couldn't stop it. So instead they say, oh, it's all about revenge. They stop him from giving revenge because that's easier. Maybe they hide from him that his mother died or his mother was doing this plan or whatever. There's that whole other side as well, that Glint, like, abandoned her offspring. Not just one, but potentially multiple eggs to do this when she agreed to do that with Destiny's Edge. That's so major that Destiny's Edge, that Snaff & Co. convinced this Glint to do this, and they fucked up. Despite everything else Glint had going on, all the other plans she abandoned for Destiny's Edge, only for Logan to walk away. Good job, Logan. I really like this line here as well. Though the snakes and their golden servants speak as though it's their purpose, and Glint merely lent it her name. Didn't we have the impression about 20 minutes ago that it actually is their purpose, though? That it was their idea? That they had really come to figure this out? Blast believes it's more her mum, though. Anyway, yeah, I love this. I will contain Kralkatorrik and cull his branded horde, and so that's how we hear what he's doing by the time we get to the desert. Yeah, I love the way he calls them snakes as well. The second you call them snakes, it's like derogatory, right? Like derisive. Yeah, look at the bottom of my screen. I know, it's a weird reshade thing. I don't know why that does that. Oh, when Irene finds out that Logan abandoned her mother. That's an interesting plot point. Do you guys think that the devs will do anything with that? When Irene finds out that Logan left Glint to die. I don't know.
What's this?
Order 134. Disable gate leading to final pedestal. Destroy any living creatures that attempt access. So the strange burning scrolls we heard before had come from Balthazar and his horde. So we can assume that this is also from them. Why is it Order 134? Were the other ones known as Orders? This almost scares me into thinking this is Order of Shadows or something. Oh, we basically confirmed that this is Balthazar. Disable the gate leading to the final pedestal. Destroy any living creatures that attempt access. If Glint is the daughter of Kralkatorrik, what are the dragons found in Cantha? Are they just some kind of women? Well, culturally, the dragons actually meant a lot in Cantha, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff there about how they got corrupted by the Jade Wind, but they were a big part. You know, Cantha is the dragon empire. Cantha is a big thing, really, when you think about what dragons are in this world. But the thing is, a lot of what they call dragons aren't necessarily what you're thinking of as Western dragons, and it's more like the whole just like it's a cultural difference in interpretation of what a dragon is, and it's not necessarily related to elder dragons. But salt sprays and Kunavang probably are to an extent. There's a lot. Don't make me think about Cantha. We're in the middle of all of this, man. On the topic of Scions of Glint, Aureen's egg must have been laid a long time ago. So if Glint died 10 years ago, no. So Jose talking about Scions is accurate because there's Vast in the egg which hadn't hatched yet at the time. Yeah. Oh, you think all the Scions are just the eggs? Okay. That makes sense. I was thinking she may have gathered other stuff. You know, it's interesting that the hidden sea of Anashim isn't too far from here. I wonder whether Glint knew that there was a salt spray dragon hiding in there. Alright. Nobody's commented on the burning scroll. I'm going to assume that's Balthazar.
Please, step inside.
Ooh, what's going on, Sidizzy? The Hall. I like that. That's so good. Look at the way they do this. They unfog this just to say the Hall. That's it. It's not a very profound looking place, but because they give you that unfog here, it feels... No, this is exactly like we saw in Tyria to teleport back out. Here we go, guys. Watch and really, really, really pay attention.
The millennia-long Elder Dragon cycle is one of feast and famine. Ravenous they rise, sated they sleep. Glint and the Forgotten set out to break this cycle of extremes and to restore true balance. But when two Elder Dragons were unexpectedly eliminated from the cycle at one time, we believe it created a void. A void that caused the system to break down and the collapse to begin. The hope was that Glint's legacy would stabilize the cycle. We theorize these vacancies must be filled with entities that circulate and share magic rather than hoard it. Only then will the balance of magic truly become stable. Only then will Glint's legacy achieve its ultimate purpose.
The Scions Dragons of Glint are more important than we thought. Balthazar only sees them as a means to gaining power, but they could be instrumental in restoring the natural balance.
If you are, in fact, the true protector of Glint's legacy, then it's up to you to stop Balthazar from taking her. But know that he will let nothing deter him from his goal of killing the Crystal Dragon.
Timey, get a message to Ridlock, Canuck, and Casimir. There's a spire south of the skimmer camp, tall enough for Keel's airship to moor. Tell them to meet me there.
Commander, you must leave, now. I can feel the Forged approaching. If you are able to find Kesho, then I failed to adequately conceal the entrance. I must close the entrance forever. This portal will allow you to return safely to the surface.
But what about you?
I will keep my pledge to protect this sacred place with my life. I am at peace. Farewell, Commander.
And boom. So there you go. There you get the urgency. And we realize the next real threat. Unfortunately, no extra dialogue. But Path of Fire does that in full. So that's just me playing the personal story that's tripping me up a little bit there. But yeah, the portal opens and we leave Kesho. I love what they do with the music and everything there. So there is a cameo for the Deep Sea Dragon there. Maybe we don't have to do a full frame by frame. But I think that's supposed to be what it is. Yes, it would have been really cool to see Sidizzy get to meet Ruka and the Lumina and whatnot. But I guess the idea is he's Sudoku'd down there. Maybe we could recover him. And yeah, we come back out. And, oh man, I really want to kind of climb the spire. You guys know what's coming here. Climb the spire to skim Shallow Cove. I'm pretty sure when I get here on the Let's Play, I won't end the episode here. I will end the episode by going down and the you-know-what. But yeah, that's going to have to be on the next stream, guys. I also will listen to... Well, hold on. Let's see what time he thinks before we go. Because they put a spot for Timey right here, which is pretty smart of them. Because this allows us to not go too far off the beaten track and lose the urgency of the moment.
Timey, do you read me?
Dragon Lab here. You've got questions? Timey's got answers. I'm about to vacate the Dragon Lab, voluntarily. I won't give flunkies the satisfaction of evicting me. But I'll be standing by if you need my input. So keep your communicator handy.
Timey, do you read me?
You must love the sound of my voice. Not that I blame you. I'm about to vacate the Dragon Lab.
All right, okay. All right, Timey. All right. Yeah, I guess that, I guess they didn't have any there? That's interesting. I don't know. I thought that they would have done one after every single instance. So what we will do is on the next stream, we will replay The Way Forward just to listen to that Asura's dialogue. We'll also replay Facing the Truth just to get the Always Time for Timey from that. And then we will do The Spire. And if you guys thought that you'd seen The Last of the Mist already, oh boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, I think that's it. That's been a hell of a stream though today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you've had some fun with some good lore speculation stuff. Juggling this and also the Path of Fire, the Let's Play has been really interesting and weird. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun. Now, if you do enjoy this, just as I leave now, we have a community Discord. You don't need an account for Discord. You don't need to download any client. You just click that link that's in chat that I just put. If you join us over in Discord, we have lots of channels to talk about Guild Wars 1, to talk about recent videos, to talk about other games, to talk about lore, all of that good stuff. We also have voice channels you can use for raiding, for fractals, for whatnot. We have raid teams. You do not have to be an actual member of the guild to join. One of the things we do over in Discord is giveaways. At the end of every month, we give 400 gems to people who have been actively using the voice channels. So just by using our community Discord, you can get in for giveaways. I'm about to do a double giveaway over there at the end of the stream now. So if you guys want to get in on that, meet me over there. It will be at the end of the stream. I'm going to go unlive now, but I will see you guys for good stuff in just a second. So that's in Discord, and that's about it. Thanks very much to all the follows today, and a few of the primes that came on Doro 1. I missed you when you gave me prime earlier. A couple of donations from Ewendell, Winter J, Lotus, And that's it. But thank you very much to you three. You guys are all awesome. And yeah, I hope you had fun. I'll be back with the Sylvari in the Caledon Forest fairly soon. I've still got to edit that up, and I've suddenly lost a lot of energy. But yeah, we will continue on. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed yourself. And I'll see you shortly.